We're going to the left coast, Vancouver, British Columbia. A showdown for second place in the West. The Edmonton Eskimos taking on the Lions. Hey, folks, and welcome to the CFL Live. James Duthie, along with Eric Tillman, Matt Dunnigan, and the Prince of Darkness, all in black tonight, Chris Schultz. And we have a good one for you tonight. For the first time all season, the BC Lions have some concerns. They won their first two games, fairly close games. They were concerned because they got pummeled by Calgary last week. On the other hand, for the first time all season, Edmonton is pumped after that huge 51-49 win over Winnipeg last week. And I guess the key storyline in this one is the return of Neil Green.
Oh, James, and I am excited. I've been talking to Don Matthews all offseason about this young man's training regimen. It's been fantastic. A little delayed. Now we're going to see the real Neil Green. And what we're going to see is defensively from the BC Lions, a lot of man-to-man coverage. When that happens, Edmonton's going to spread them out, and that's going to open up plenty of lanes for Neil Green to exploit with his legs. And we all know he can do it with his legs. He showed us that last year. But let's see if he can do it through the air and take advantage of the BC secondary that's coming together, Chris.
You know what? I agree that in this football game, the individual issue is Neil Green. But as a team, the Edmonton Eskimos, they can't give up the big plays. Last week, 8 big plays. It totaled 250 yards. Now, on a positive side, they're all controllable issues. A player would slip. He'd have a bad technique. It was a mental error. But you know what? You have to stop it now, because if you don't stop it, teams start testing you game in and game out. If they do a better job of eliminating the big plays, James, I think they got a great shot at winning the game.
As for the BC Lions, in many ways fortunate to be 2-1. They had 2 very close games, came back against Hamilton, held on against Saskatchewan. But they have some concerns going into this one, and for only the 4th game of the year, it's a pretty key game for them.
Yeah, it is. It hasn't been pretty for them in the start, but what's the old saying? It doesn't matter how, it's just how many, and this team does have a winning record. But still, we're in the early stages of the season, and this football team needs to establish some chemistry, some continuity on offense. It's a big game for both football teams. If BC wins tonight, they create some separation with Edmonton. If Edmonton wins, it's anybody's race. I think it's going to be a great one, but I like Edmonton.
We are looking forward to it. It is the Eskimos and the Lions from BC Place. Kickoff is coming up in just a couple of minutes, so grab your favorite spot on the couch. The Beast is ready. Will the Lions be beasts against the Eskimos? We'll find out. Enjoy the game, folks. See you at the quarter.
CFL football on TSN is brought to you by Molson Canadian. I am Canadian.
Do not forget, we're right back at you tomorrow night for Adidas Friday Night Football. Danny Mac and the Tiger Cats taking on the Argonauts in one of the most heated rivalries in all of the CFL. We have the pregame show at 7 Eastern. Skydome is the game at 7:30. And we are just shortly away from kickoff in BC. Another thing to watch tonight, besides the battle of the quarterbacks, the battle of the running backs. A couple of guys making debuts. Chuck Levy, former NFLer, 6 years in the NFL, playing for British Columbia. He's one to watch. Also, Craig Carr filling in for the injured Troy Mills in Edmonton. Both those guys with a lot of weight on their shoulders heading into this one. Once again, Dave Randorf and Glenn Suter.
Thanks a lot, guys. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Vancouver and BC Place. We've got the Edmonton Eskimos and the BC Lions to kick off Week 4 in the CFL. The Edmonton Eskimos coming off a nice win last week.
2 teams that arrive here this evening coming off completely opposite Week 3s. The Edmonton Eskimos will try and take advantage of momentum they gained in their first win of the season, scoring 51 points. For the Lions, quite simply, it's gut check time. A talented team that did not show up to play versus the Calgary Stampeders. 2 points is not going to win you many games. That's why Alfred Jackson's back in the lineup. The offense has to be more productive tonight.
Don Matthews loves the fact that his team got their first win of the season last week. He hates the fact that they gave up 49 points. Chris Schultz mentioned it. They gave up way too many big plays. They've got to cut that down tonight.
Despite a poor performance last week, Greg Mons, as the head coach of the BC Lions, has still won 21 of the team's last 27 games. But it was an embarrassing loss last week versus Calgary, and he was a little grumpy all week in practice with the BC Lions.
Yes, he was. Says they went over the films with a fine-tooth comb. Didn't feel his team played as bad as the score indicated. He thought it was a close game, that they made a couple of key mistakes at key times, and that's where it got out of hand. Damon Allen, however, has 109 yards passing, 2 interceptions, and most of the fans that have made their way down to the ballpark tonight are expecting a better performance out of him and the BC Lions offense, and he will work first in tonight's ball game. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Midas, once we show them to you. Your auto service experts. Sean Fleming getting ready to kick this ball off and get us underway. Mike Adams and Chuck Levy, number 23. There's the man we're going to be watching, Glenn.
Yeah, Chuck Levy, very versatile player. Comes from the National Football League, where he played with San Francisco most recently. It's interesting, Jimmy the Jet Cunningham is not back to return kicks. They will have him just return punts to rest him up, and they want to see what Chuck Levy can do tonight.
We might get a chance to see it right away. And we are underway in Vancouver, and Levy takes it inside his 10. Looking for the outside is Chuck Levy. Decent return out to the 30, and that's where Damon Allen will start. And let's take a look at that BC Lions offense with the starting lineup brought to you by Midas. Michael Adams, number 86 on the wide side, and Alfred Jackson makes his regular season debut, lining up inside of the slot back position. The offensive line is a good one. However, Greg Mons would like to see a bit better of a performance than he saw last week. And we've already told you about Damon Allen. Those are his numbers for this season as he continues to chase Ron Lancaster for the all-time passing yardage record. First handoff goes to Robert Drummond. Not much of a gain there.
Defensively for the Edmonton Eskimos, it's the same group that started the season and has played together in every game. Mobley, Grant Carter, and Terry Ray. Great linebacking core that leads the league against the run on defense, but they did give up 49 points last week versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They need a better performance out of their secondary.
There's a look at Signor Mobley, a guy who plays linebacker and also returns kicks for the Eskimos. However, we are told we won't see him in the return game tonight in this ball game. 2nd and 8 for Allen. Flings that one out, and that's not going to happen. So the Lions open up quickly with a 2 and out, and this is exactly the start they did not want to see, Glenn.
Well, all but one game, Saskatchewan, that the Lions have played this year, they have got off to a slow start offensively and have had to come from behind. And I asked Greg Mons yesterday about that and how he got his team ready and prepared to get a good start to the game. And he said, you know what? I don't know. I don't know what to tell them. All I can do is hope that they are mentally prepared to play this football game, because they weren't last week versus Calgary.
Lou set to kick it away to Gizmo, who's standing right at his 30-yard line. And it's a good punt. Henry Gizmo Williams, not much room, heads for the sidelines, and that's where the Edmonton Eskimos will begin, led by Nealon Green, who's making his 2000 regular season debut. Let's meet the Edmonton Eskimos offense. Green, of course, at quarterback, and Kez McCorvey. Look out for him, number 85, the slot, and Craig Carr is the new man in the backfield with Troy Mills hurt. The offensive line is led by Leo Groenwagen, playing his 238th consecutive game tonight. Nealon Green hurt his knee, his left knee, during the preseason. They say he's 100%, and we will find out in a hurry. Green going to the air right away, going to the far side for Donnie Ashley, fighting for some room, short of a first down.
There are some changes in the BC defense, but not in the front six. That's the same group that played last week versus the Calgary Stampeders. David Benefield, we've mentioned, has moved back to the linebacking core. It was a rush end last year. The changes for the Lions are in the secondary. Raphael Robinson moves back to the wrecker position where he played last season. He played corner last week, and Eric Carter back in the lineup for the Lions on the corner.
Gain of 7 on that play. 2nd and 3 from their own 50-yard line. Green out of that shotgun. Going to put it up, pass is batted down, and the Lions defense answers right back, and the Eskimos will now have to kick it away.
Looked like it was David Benefield that got in there. Now, we talked about David Benefield moving to the linebacker spot. He will still do a lot of rushing the quarterback. He'll line up as a linebacker, but he'll move around and hit different gaps. He's just getting used to that position because it is very different than what he played a year ago.
Sean Fleming, what a week he had 1 week ago against the Bombers, throwing a touchdown pass, turned out to be to Rick Walters.
100% pass completion record for Sean Fleming.
First of his career. The Jet takes it outside his 20, not much of a return there. The Jets still looking to blast off. When we come back, the Lions offense will look to take off at BC Place. No score.
Swipe your club card at Safeway for autumn.
One of the strengths of Joe Paopau's BC offense last season was the running game. It was second in the league. This year so far, it's off to a slow start. They're 6th, and when you've got a running back like Robert Drummond, you think that they've got to use him a little bit more.
Well, in fairness to Joe Paopau, they have been behind throughout the year, but you're absolutely right. They have to get Robert Drummond the football more out of the backfield. They are 52 yards on average below what they were last year in running the football.
There's a quick pass to Mike Adams, who is cutting into the middle. Here's a guy who's kind of made an impact in that Lions offense.
Boy, is he ever. Over 200 yards receiving in 3 games and a couple of touchdowns. He's made some big plays and taken advantage when opposing defenses had made mistakes in coverage. He could not. They do not want to take him out of the lineup. He's like the hot goalie.
Yeah.
Leave him in when they're hot.
He's been a big play guy so far, and right there he gained 7 yards, so it'll be 2nd and 3 for Damon Allen. From the 30, the ball goes to Drummond. He will take care of the rest. That will be a first down.
We talked about the running game, David, how important it is for the BC Lions. Well, it's going to be a tough job tonight to run the football against this Edmonton Eskimo defensive line. Doug Peterson anchors it, always triple teamed and double teamed in the middle of that defense, is having a tremendous season. He's not had a lot of stats this year yet, but Doug Peterson takes the triple teams, opens up things for the rest of that defensive line.
1st and 10 from their own 34. Allen's going to swing this one out to the Jets. Far side of the field, spins away from 1 tackle, but does not get away from Dwayne Provo. Gain of about 4.
That Edmonton defense ranks #1 against the run, and a lot of that is because of the play of Doug Peterson and Albert Reese in the middle of the defense. Both those guys really anchor that middle, make it awful tough to run in the middle of it. If you got to attack it, teams are trying to get to the outside, and when they do, they have quick linebackers in Terry Ray and Singor Mobley.
Albert Reese, a first-year man out of Grambling State. 2nd and 6. Allen out of the shotgun. Goes over the middle. It's got Cunningham again for a first down. And now they're moving the chains. This is what they needed to do to give their offense a little bit of momentum.
Well, the first thing is that they're looking at a 2nd and medium situation. Last week versus Calgary, they were in 2nd and long all game, and 2nd and long is like 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9. If you get into 2nd and 5, you can throw a 5-yard crossing pattern to Jimmy the Jet Cunningham and come up with the first down. That was one thing they wanted to emphasize: success on first down in this game.
From the 46, play action fake. Allen has got Cunningham wide open again at the 50. And Damon Allen, he's a big golfer. And the way he explained it to me is that, you know, if you keep leaving yourself in 2nd and long, or in this case in golfing vernacular, with long par putts, you're going to make a lot of bogeys.
That's right. Well, it was one big bogey last week versus the Calgary Stampeders, and he knows it. Didn't play his best game, but it wasn't just Damon Allen. There was some problems with the receiving corps. They weren't on the same page at all, just scoring 2 points.
And they were playing a pretty good team in the Calgary Stampeders.
Absolutely.
The Lions moving into Edmonton territory. They're at the 47. Another play action fake by Allen. Rolls to his right, swings it out wide. Open is Robert Drummond out of the backfield. And he is close to another first down.
Presence of the running game. Watch the fake that Damon Allen is going to run here. Here's the fake to Sean Millington going right in here. When he fakes it to Millington, if they're having some success on the run, then that defensive line has to respect it. You see Melvin Hunter went way down inside to Millington. That got Damon Allen to the outside and a chance to throw the football.
Robert Drummond has more yards catching the ball than he does running the ball so far this season. Allen in a little bit of trouble back there, gets it away to Millington, the outlet man, and they end up with the first down.
Well, if Damon Allen's a golfer, you know what he just did? He went from right-hand chip to a left-hand chip. He just switched hands. He actually threw this football with his left hand. He's got some pressure on him, so he takes it in his left hand,
Look
just
at that.
tosses it up to Sean Millington, just kind of little sandlot ball, making things happen on the fly. Millington picks up the first down.
Exactly right, just making it happen and doing what you got to do. First down, they're at the 31 now and moving the ball well. Allen. Oh, I think that's going to be offside as Jason Crum, the rookie, was about 10 yards beyond the line of scrimmage.
I passed Damon Allen in the hall as he was heading in to get changed and get ready for this game, and there was tremendous focus in his face and in his eyes.
Offside. BC number 10. Still first down.
Oftentimes, Damon Allen before a game is quite relaxed and will have no problem with sitting and having a conversation with you. And I got the feeling walking by today that his mind was completely focused on the game. He really wasn't too chatty. Said, I'm looking forward to redeeming myself. Went right in the locker room.
And once again, the Damon Allen critics were out here in Vancouver. There's always some of them, no matter what this man does, following last week's performance, but he's answering them right now. Adams, Mike Adams, catches that high pass.
Kind of closed up on him. Good pursuit by that defense for the Edmonton Eskimos. That's the quickness of that linebacking core. Terry Ray's just 200 pounds. Singor Mobley is just at 200 pounds. Those guys have great speed. They can fly to the football. You throw that little hitch screen, Mike Adams saw the door close in a hurry.
A couple of good bookend linebackers there for the Edmonton Eskimos. Terry Ray and Singor Mobley, who's in his second stint now with the Eskimos. It'll be 2nd and 15 as the Lions are trying to work their way back after that penalty. Out of the shotgun, Allen has a man wide open, but he overthrew Robert Drummond, and that's where this drive will stall. And the field goal kicking unit will come out onto the field.
It looked like Damon Allen just rushed the throw a little bit. He didn't throw it when he wanted to. He wasn't set, and the ball sailed on him because he had Robert Drummond open. But the good news for Greg Mons is that they have a chance to kick a field goal and come away with some points.
And it's the long field goal kicking unit on for the Lions. It's going to be 43 yards, and that means John Baker gets the call. From 42 and out, it's Baker's kick. Anywhere inside, it's Luke. This one has lots of leg, and it is through. John Baker gets the Lions on the board. It's 3-0 at BC Place.
For the Edmonton Eskimos to win this football game, we think they need to do 3 things. 1, lean on the line. They have a newcomer at quarterback in Nealon Green. Not a newcomer, first start of the season.
Right.
And a newcomer at running back in Craig Carr. They have to play better against the pass. They're 7th in the CFL versus it. Had a bad night last week. Stick with Old Mo.
Keep it going, but just try to cut down on the points against. Here's Donnie Ashley. He's going to seam up the middle. Ashley's to the 35-yard line. A little bit beyond. Decent return by number 87, Donnie Ashley. A return of 22 yards on a 60-yard kickoff, and out comes Nealon Green. And we haven't really had a chance yet to see, how that knee is.
Well, that's what the test is. He's got a brace on that knee, and he'll wear that all season. Now, Nealon Green, can he still run effectively? Because remember, it's not only physically. Physically, he's cleared to play, but it's also mentally, emotionally. Can you get past that injury? Can you run on the football field like you did before you were hurt?
On first down, he's going to throw. He's got Fred Bailey. And Fred Bailey's got a whole lot of black jerseys on top of him, led by number 56, David Benefield.
Well, both teams pursuing to the football. We saw Edmonton's Terry Ray and Singor Mobley do it in the last series. Now watch the Lion defense fly out to the football and pursue. 1, 2, 3, 4 Lion jerseys, tacklers in there. You can often make one guy miss. It's awful tough to make 4 or 5 guys miss. That's gang tackling.
Especially with Bailey. It's 5'8", 180. He was outmatched on that one. No gain on the play. 2nd and 10. Green snaps one to Terry Vaughn, and Vaughn takes off into Lions territory, spinning off tackles almost to the 40. Old reliable. Find a veteran receiver and give it to him in a hurry.
Well, David Benefield showed the blitz and then dropped out of there. Watch Benefield in here. Show the blitz, then he drops, and look how close he is to the football. That was like a fingernail away. Watch Benefield. He sees Terry Vaughn hook up. Now he's just got to get there and can't get to that ball. Terry Vaughn takes advantage.
The pass had a lot on it. A 30-yard gain. The handoff went inside to the rookie Carr. And this is obviously a huge key for the Eskimos tonight. How this guy can step up and perform in his pro debut.
10th overall pick in the 2000 college draft to the University of Manitoba. Craig Carr gets a chance to play with Troy Mills back in Edmonton with a foot injury. Now, what helps his cause is that Nealon Green is also back, and his running ability to the outside should open things up for Craig Carr on the inside.
He only picked up a yard. It's 2nd and 9 from the 41. Green out of the shotgun, has some protection, and he's got Vaughn wide open. Terry Vaughn being chased from behind, brought down inside the 5-yard line.
Raphael Robinson had an all-star season last year at free safety. He moved to corner this year, played corner, did not go to training camp. He had a bust in the coverage, and it's coming back.
57.
Val St. Germain got nailed on a holding penalty.
Whoa.
And that brings back a huge play for the Eskimos.
Raphael Robinson, you could see it in his eyes there. He was just like, whoo! I got away with one there, because that was a big mistake by Robinson. He jumped up in the coverage, and Green saw him, threw it behind him. The holding brings it back.
Had the penalty, take away the gain. It's a net loss of 47 on that play, and Green short hops one to his receiver on 2nd and long, and what was looking like a great situation for the Eskimos ends.
Sometimes you have good penalties, sometimes there's bad penalties, and Val St. Germain's holding call is a bad penalty. There's no other way to say it.
You'd file that under B.
Yeah, because that's 47 yards of real estate and a chance to take points off the board, because even if the Eskimos don't punch it in down there on the 5-yard line, they still have Sean Fleming to kick a field goal. Now he's going to have to punt the football.
Not only was it a huge gain, they were sitting right on the doorstep. Fleming gets a boomer away, a good punt. And Jimmy the Jet is going to take some field position, concede the single, and it's 3-1 as we wind our way down to the 3-minute mark of the first quarter at BC Place. Welcome back to Vancouver. Dave Randorf and Glenn Suter up in the booth. Farhan Lalji is down along the sidelines with us tonight. Farhan.
Well, Dave, we haven't had a chance to see Eskimo quarterback Nealon Green run with the ball yet. Now, as Glenn mentioned, he is wearing a brace on his left knee. It's called an accelerator brace. It's made by an Edmonton company, similar to the brace that a lot of the Edmonton Oilers wear in the NHL. We spoke to Nealon before the game. He said he's gotten quite used to the brace. It weighs just over a pound. He promises it won't affect his mobility. As you remember, last season, Green rushed for just under 100 yards right here at GM Place.
And just under 1,000 on the season for Nealon Green, so you don't want to restrict his running ability. He said he'll wear that brace all season long.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to bother him.
It's pretty light now.
Yeah, and he'll have to get used to it. It's the bottom line. He can't let it bother him. Gain of 3 on that play. A handoff to Sean Millington. So it's, again, 2nd and long for the Lions. They're going to try and move the ball as they did on their last drive. Robert Drummond out of the backfield, makes a couple guys miss and picks up some good positive yardage and a first down.
This is why Robert Drummond is so hard to tackle, because Terry Ray wants to bow his neck and get ready to get hit by a pounding running back in Robert Drummond, and a big guy. And when Terry Ray bows his neck and bends his knees, Drummond just goes around him. Watch the little move when he comes out of the backfield. He bows his neck there, whoa, and then he makes that little move back to the inside and make the first guy miss. The great running backs all do.
And Mobley just bounces off of Robert Drummond. All 215 pounds of him. Gain of 13 on the play. First down, Lions. They go to Drummond again. And he is so tough to bring down, and that's why he's our #1 key.
Pound the drum. They got to get Robert Drummond more involved in the offense like we're seeing here tonight. Number 2, they have to test out Nealon's knee. And we're not saying that they should go and take a shot at the knee.
We're not condoning that.
No, what we're saying is they should flush him out of the pocket, see if he is still as mobile as he used to be, and get over that loss. Whether it's 1 or 100, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is, didn't get the 2 points, put it behind you, get back and get ready to play this week.
2nd and 4. Number 29 has it again. Robert Drummond's into the backfield. Puts his head down, barrels into Chris Hardy, and he's inside the 30.
I think they saw our keys. Great blocks at the point of attack from the offensive line to spring Robert Drummond, because he was not even touched as he went in through that hole. It's going to be to the left of your screen. Now watch the big hole. Harden with a nice kick-out block. You see Jamie Terrace on Terry Ray. He pushed him out of the hole. And Drummond is clean right through the middle.
Unnecessary roughness. Edmonton 95. First down.
So you can tack on more yardage as Albert Reese, way behind the play, back at the line of scrimmage, got into it with one of the BC Lions. I didn't see who, but regardless, tack some more yardage onto that 27-yard gain by Robert Drummond.
We talked about the offensive line for the BC Lions. When we watched the game last week, didn't look like they played real well. Now, Greg Mons told us that they graded out quite well, but they made some mental mistakes up front. Guys were just not in position to make the blocks they were supposed to. Looks like they're on fire tonight.
And it's a first down from the 13-yard line. Allen. Long throw out to Jimmy the Jet. Looking for some room. He's inside the 5. He was looking to get around the corner. Dwayne Provo couldn't get all the way around him.
Well, Jimmy the Jet's the kind of guy that is usually going to try and make you miss with his feet, but pretty good strength in this play because he gives the old stiff arm, the old college Heisman to Dwayne Provo. Almost knocked him by to get into the end zone. Pretty good strength.
He's not a big guy, but he is a very fierce and intense competitor for this Lions squad.
He's the type of guy that'll get you out of your back pedal if you're a DB, I'll tell you that. He'll turn your hips in a hurry.
From the 3. Allen to Drummond, and he is gang-piled.
One of the guys I thought played a tremendous game for the Edmonton defense last week versus Winnipeg in a game that a lot of points were scored was Melvin Hunter. Didn't have a whole lot of stats. He had 1 sack late in the game, but boy, was he ever providing consistent pressure against Winnipeg quarterbacks. And on that play, he was just in the backfield, read the mail, knew the play, and stopped it cold.
Malvin, big game Hunter. He was down in the sack stats last season. 2 already this season. 2nd and goal for the BC Lions. Allen to Cunningham, turned around just in time, touchdown!
Well, he lost the football, but he lost it after he broke the plane.
And something obviously wrong with number 21 over there.
Looked like he went down hard. That's why he lost the football just as he went across the goal line. The Lions used a different formation, one I'm sure the Edmonton Eskimos hadn't seen a whole lot of on game film.
That was on the final play. Well, the convert will be the final play, but that was as time wound down here in the first quarter. Lou adds the extra points, and the Lions have stretched their lead to 9 points. It's 10-1. Lions over the Eskimos. Let's send you back to CFL control.
The CFL live on TSN at the quarter.
By the way, that guy climbing up the pole is exactly how Dunnigan warms up for the show outside the little trees next to the parking lot. You know, in this room, between the 4 of us, we've had 16 knee surgeries. And Eric and I haven't had any, so you figure out the math. Anyway, football players' knees is the #1 thing. The knee, everybody watching Nealon Green tonight, and that knee hasn't been moving much.
Well, in the first quarter, Nealon Green has been basically just a pocket passer, and for him to really have an impact on the game, you got to get him on the edge and utilize his mobility, his overall athleticism. In the pregame show, we all wondered a little bit about his health, and the way they've utilized him in the first half, I think those questions continue, Matt.
Well, then, on BC side of the ball, Damon Allen is simply just getting after it. He's using all the people. Joe Pow says we got to utilize the people that can move the ball for us, and they simply do that. Damon Allen just is going to himself, too, calling his own number, trying to get out and around. Melvin Hunter knows it, but this is just flat-out cheating right here. Damon, this is not allowed. He goes from his right over here and switches the ball with his left and makes a simple, great play that we got to take a look at again. That's special. Damon Allen just flat-out cheating. That's not in the rules, Damon. I tell you, Melvin Hunter's thinking the same thing, Chris. Damon Allen is making it happen with all the people on the football team
and
right
he
now.
is so enjoyable to see when he's relaxed and making plays. You know, the thing I'm looking for from Edmonton's perspective is they have to be able to take advantage of these linebackers that BC has. David Benefield is 6'4", 231. Eric England is like 6'3", 275. The two slot backs, I mean, this must be something that they have to run crossing patterns and get these big guys to move to create that separation and to get those guys on the run with the football. I'm surprised they haven't been able to take advantage of it, James.
You ever throw a pass with your opposite hand?
Man, I've thrown passes that look like I have, but not on purpose.
You ever hold a guy with your opposite hand?
Never.
He's cheating.
Let's send you back for second
cheat.
quarter action. BC dominating in the first. And Edmonton had one good drive, but that penalty really hurt them. Let's send you back to BC Place.
Where it is 10-1 after Jimmy the Jet Cunningham finished off a drive that was, well, the key play was Robert Drummond. Then they got the unnecessary roughness penalty tacked onto it. And that's where we sit as John Baker kicks this one off. And the Eskimos are going to have to try to respond, but the BC Lions have an early lead. And they haven't been playing with many of those. Ashley looking for some room. Donnie Ashley gets close to his own 30-yard line before he's wrapped up by Roger Ryanson and Greg Bierman.
Well, you got to give Joe Pow an assist on this touchdown because that's usually Robert Drummond. Guess who it is now? Jimmy the Jet Cunningham. So by formation, a change-up by the BC Lions, sneaks out of the backfield and then just beats Terry Ray to the corner, gets in the end zone, and then when he landed on Ray's arm, crossed the line. That's where he was shaken up on the play, but I'm sure he'll be back. It's a long way from his heart.
And you can see, you know, the competitiveness of that guy. He's not giving up until that whistle goes, until that play is dead, and that extra effort got them the touchdown. Nealon Green out of the shotgun on first down. A high pass, and it is brought down. Nice catch by Fred Bailey, who went way up and brought it down.
Fred Bailey getting a chance to play with Ed Hervey out of the lineup for the second straight week. Hervey has an infection and is back in Edmonton in his arm. So Fred Bailey gets a chance to play. And Fred Bailey and guys like Donnie Ashley in this receiving corps for the Edmonton Eskimos are playmakers. Guys that once they get the ball in their hand, if you give it to them with some room, boy, they can make you miss.
Gain of 7, 2nd and 3 from their 35-yard line. The handoff inside to the big fullback, Sean Daniels. And that is a first down. How about the numbers from the first period of play, Glenn?
Well, this is the one that stands out completely. That right there, it's 11 minutes of ball possession for the BC Lions to 4 for the Edmonton Eskimos. And over the course of a full football game, that wears on your defense. Pretty productive start for the BC Lions offensively.
And Nealon Green making his first start of this season has not yet got his offense in sync, has it?
Well, you know what, the one thing that I'm surprised I don't see more of from Nealon Green is him moving the pocket around, getting outside the corners, making the defensive ends widen for the BC Lions. Dan Crowley had the big game last week, and we thought there might be some sort of, not quarterback controversy, but at least it would make the decision tough for Don Matthews. He said, no shot. My starting quarterback is Nealon Green.
2nd and 9. Out of the shotgun with pressure coming from Benefield. Flag is down as Green just got away.
Well, he got away in just time, but David Benefield, I believe, is going to be called for a face mask. Because when he blew by Nealon Green, I think he got his hands on the face mask.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness to the head. BC number 56.
I think David Benefield was trying to decapitate Nealon Green. He came untouched off the edge and flew right by Green, going right for that helmet. He was trying to take that visor right off his face mask.
Whoa. Got a pretty good piece of it. I've seen worse face masks, but it definitely got a piece of it.
He got away with his life and his head intact.
Regardless, it's a huge penalty. Keeps the drive moving for the Eskimos, and they move into BC territory. They're at the 52. Here's Green with some time dancing around, but eventually the Lions caught up to him. Thomas is in there, Marvin Thomas, Herman Smith, and Raphael Robinson.
Really looks like David Benefield is starting to become more comfortable in his position. Last year for the Lions, he lined up right here. Everything he did was outside in off the edge. This year, moved back to the linebacking core. Now he's got to move up and rush the quarterback or drop into coverage. Completely changed his role with the BC Lion defense. It's taken some time, but it looks like he's now settling into his new position.
2nd and 9 for Green, who's got lots of time, but nobody open. He's going to run. And that is going to be short of the first down as he's met by Eric Carter.
There's really the first chance to see Nealon Green running with the football and see if that knee is going to hold up, because not only has he taken a couple of hits on this drive, but here's the first time he's really taken off and run. He is the fastest quarterback without question in the league. Now, he was looking to throw it, so we didn't see him hit full speed. But a wise move to try and get down and avoid a real big hit from Eric Carter on the corner.
And so now Sean Fleming is going to line one up and try to put it through the uprights from what looks to be a 52-yarder.
Now, remember what happened last week versus Winnipeg. Albert Johnson III took one 120 yards on a missed field goal, and the Jet is just as capable.
He's hit from 51 already this season, and now he's hit from 52. Sean Fleming, the local boy from Burnaby. Put 3 more on the board for the Eskimos.
Swipe your club card at Safeway for...
This half of the CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. The Simply the Best Clear Out event is on now.
Sean Fleming is now 10 of 13 on the season in his field goal kicking after a 52-yarder makes it 10-4, and he's kicking this one off in the general direction of Chuck Levy. No, it's not going to be Levy. Not much of a return there. Simon Buffo just scooped it up. And the Lions offense will come back out onto the field. And here's a guy who's lining up in a different position that we're used to seeing him line up at on the inside.
Last year, Alfred Jackson played the wide side wide receiver, way away from Damon Allen. This year, coming into camp, they wanted to put him to the short side wide receiver. In this game, they've moved him to slot back. They want to feature Alfred Jackson. This is a guy who a couple of years back in '97 had over 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. In his last 13 games going back to last year, did not see the end zone. Shut out last year without a touchdown catch. He would love to get one tonight and get that off his back.
And in 1998, where he only played half a season because he was down in the NFL, he only had 1 touchdown. And this is a guy that, as you say, had huge numbers for the Lions in 1997. 1,300 yards receiving, 10 touchdown passes. He's sick and tired of hearing all the talk about the end zone thing now. He really says, listen, my role is maybe to stretch the field, and once we get down there, maybe I don't get the touchdown. He doesn't care. He just wants to be a part of it.
Yeah, and he wants to see the football. He's a guy that you put into that inside of the slot back, just like you mentioned, Dave. He's a guy with enough speed to get those DBs turning and get them back there. When he does that, he'll open things underneath for the rest of the receiving corps. But Alfred Jackson's real close to Damon Allen now in that slot back position. We'll see if he gets the football more tonight.
How's that for some numbers? 10 of 12 in the passing department for Allen. 1st and 10 from his own 25-yard line. Allen going big. Turning back to the ball was Mike Adams, but the pass was not there.
Well, it was a timing pass for Mike Adams on the sideline, and Damon Allen has to throw it before Mike Adams gets out of his break. But what happened was Perry Carter, the corner up there, was in a hand fight with Mike Adams. When he was in the hand fight, he took Mike Adams out of his concentration, took too long to turn out of his break. Perry Carter is really, in his first year in the Canadian Football League, making a name for himself.
One back, you got him. I'll take him.
So it's 2nd and 10.
Back.
As Allen sprints from the pocket, the heat was coming from the backside. He's got Chuck Levy, and Levy is going to be well short of the first down.
Well, when you score 2 points in a game, and that's what the Lions scored last week versus Calgary, you need to inject some life into your offense. Chuck Levy is in the lineup to try and do that along with Alfred Jackson. Rocky Henry was injured, and it helped in some of the decisions that Greg Mons had to make. But they've, since training camp, have wanted to see what Chuck Levy can do, because he's one of those specially gifted athletes that can do it all. And really doesn't even look like he's moving out there. He's so smooth, and they'd like to get the ball in his hands and see what he can do with it.
Speaking of guys who can move, here's one here. Gizmo takes it at his own 35-yard line. He's going to backtrack a bit, looking for the outside. Gizmo has got the outside, but he ran out of room. Still looking for that elusive touchdown return that he hasn't had in a little while. It's 10-4 at BC Place. At the back of that huddle is number 85, Kez McCorvey. And if you hadn't heard that name before, you certainly heard it last week as you were watching this wild game between the Eskimos and the Blue Bombers, because McCorvey, all he did was get open all night, and Dan Crowley kept going to him and going to him. 4 touchdown catches last week, tying a franchise single-game record. He now shares the record with Brian Kelly. Not bad for the first-year Eskimo. Here's Green on the run. Nealon Green's got a little bit of room. Testing that knee. Looks all right on this play as he sprints for the sidelines. Doesn't quite make it, but he definitely got the first down.
Now, Kez McCorvey quite simply made DBs for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers dizzy. He was just open all night long. He turned them around. He turned them upside down. 4 touchdown catches for Kez McCorvey. That tied Brian Kelly, like you mentioned, in 1984 for single-game record. And what a week he had. 107 yards, excuse me. It seemed like 170.
We haven't seen him yet involved in this ball game, but it's early. There's the handoff going to Craig Carr, and the rookie gets close to another first down for the Eskimos.
What they like about Craig Carr is his quickness. In college, the University of Manitoba, he ran on the 4x200 relay team and went to the Canadian Nationals as a track star. You have a track star. He's also a good all-around athlete. He was a soccer player as well.
And when he was playing football, he did rush for 1,000 yards.
Carr again, still Carr. It's in the back of the net.
And they're going to give it to a running back here to finish off what was a 2nd and short. They gave it to the fullback, Daniels, first down.
Well, that last run by Nealon Green really was the one that tested out his knee. He took off and ran. It looked like he's got full speed and took a hit on it, landed on it. He's fine. He's not limping. He is 100%. And sometimes it takes a couple of those hits just to get through it mentally. It looks like he is.
We've got 2 of the premier running quarterbacks in the entire league in this ball game tonight. Little play action fake. He's going to throw this one. Coming back to the ball was Nigel Williams. Good play. Because that play was not going to happen unless he came back to it.
Yeah, he had to pull that one right off the turf. Low throw to the outside by Green, and Nigel Williams had to go down and pull it right off the turf, and then he had to sell it to the officials. To catch it and then make it look good down there too.
Good sell. It's a 4-yard gain, 2nd and 6 from the BC 39. Green out of the shotgun, goes to the air again. High pass no, it's incomplete. First time he was looking for Kez McCorvey. They calling that a catch?
Well, if it's a catch,
yes, they are.
If it's a catch, then it was a fumble, and then who was the last to touch it going out of bounds? Because that. Well, they're saying it is a catch. The question is, who touched it going out of bounds? I don't think they're even considering that.
No, they're saying first down Edmonton. No, third. They're just short. Just short.
Well, take a quick look at it, and you be the judge. There's the catch. Looks like it's secured there. Of course, it is in slow motion. Now the ball comes out. Now, who touches it before it goes out of bounds? Eric Carter standing right there. The ball bounces out right there. Was it Raphael Robinson or Kez McCorvey?
It is a tough call because they were, both kind of turning around as they hit the ground. Obviously they were ruling the ground caused the fumble, so they're not going to gamble on 3rd and short. Instead, they send Fleming back out there from 42 yards. Hit from 52 a few moments ago, and he misses this one from 10 yards closer. Cunningham will give him the single point, but that's not what they wanted. They have cut the lead in half. It's 10-5 in Vancouver. You're watching the CFL live. Well, we got a long ways to go before this game's over, but when it is, be sure to check out Sports Desk for all the latest scores and highlights. We'll show you Derek Bell
putting on your head.
putting on a fielding clinic as the Expos were at Shea today. We've also got a little bit of golf.
Oh, been there.
So have I.
Oh, I've been there.
The British Seniors Open in Jack Villeneuve got a brand new deal earlier this week with bar racing at Sports Desk. Those stories and a whole lot more. 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Pacific with Rod Smith and David Pratt. The Lions from their own 35. Robert Drummond looking for some room, and he's got some. Halfway home to a first down.
that golf shot was usually, that's when the helicopter starts. You know, the club flies out of your hand, and enough of that.
Yeah, these guys have got it covered tonight. Rod and David will have a post-game report from this ball game as well, and look ahead to tomorrow night's action. Some interesting goings-on in Toronto with the Argos. Gain of 7 by Drummond. It'll be 2nd and 3 here from the 42. A little miscommunication there, but it goes to Drummond anyway, and they got the first down. What the heck?
Oh, man.
How many times will you ever see that?
Well, you know what it is, though, and Damon Allen makes it look simple, and it's composure. It's obviously a miscue in the backfield, right? They run into each other, but look at the composure. No problem. I still have the football. Get a guy open, toss it off to him, and away we go. He threw one with his left hand. He throws that one underneath the armpit of, it looks like Melvin Hunter, after running into the guy he threw it to.
Yeah.
Composure.
The guys in the panel were talking about it. He's relaxed. He's not feeling a lot of pressure after an off week last week, a game which he or the rest of the team did not play well. He looks relaxed, and so does Robert Drummond. Running the ball well. This was a key to get him moving, and his legs are moving, Glenn.
Well, they are moving, and the way they're having in the formation is he's the only back in the backfield. And remember, this is a defense that ranked first against the run, but Robert Drummond did not get the start to this season that he got a year ago. Just 138 yards rushing. Last year, he was on top of the CFL rushing. This year, he's in 8th after 3 weeks, and that's not typical Robert Drummond numbers, but what you're seeing there in a half of football is more like it.
1,300 yards rushing last season, as that ball was just out of the reach of Alfred Jackson on 2nd and 4.
Ralph Staten was in coverage, and Alfred Jackson wanted a penalty called. Trying to get inside of Ralph Staten. He grabs him there, pulls down his shoulder a little bit, just enough to take that left arm out of the away from Alfred Jackson, so he can't get a chance to go down and catch the football. And I think Jackson had an argument. It was subtle, but it was a little grab.
Is that a big adjustment for him going to the inside?
Well, it is, absolutely. He can use motion to his advantage. He can hit the line of scrimmage on the fly, but he did take reps during the week in practice at the slot back position, and he's a veteran.
He's a veteran. He's also a former DB, so he likes to think he knows what they're going to do. Lou kicks this one away. And they're not going to give number 2 a chance to wind it up. They've kept Gizmo in check so far for the most part. If you like what you're seeing, you want to get out to a park near you and see a ball game. The next home game for the Edmonton Eskimos is Friday, August 11th against the Montreal Alouettes. There's the number to call. You want to get yourself out to Commonwealth Stadium. And for the BC Lions, their next home game is Thursday, August 10th against the Calgary Stampeders.
You think they're looking forward to that rematch?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would think so. Get them in our park and see how they like it.
Major foul.
Got that one, sir.
Unnecessary roughness. BC 97 after the play. First down.
Oh. Tom Hips. A lot of unnecessary roughness penalties in this game, Glenn. You don't think the emotions are running a little high here?
Well, it's very important football games for both teams. Obviously, Edmonton right now has a chance to move into a tie with the BC Lions in the standings. Even after a poor start, the Lions, who had a decent start with 2 straight wins, need to snap that. They didn't play well last week. They need to bounce back from that performance. Greg Mons wants an explanation exactly what the penalty was. And if you can read lips, you can tell he doesn't agree.
So the Eskimos will begin around their 30-yard line. Nealon working out of the shotgun. Pump fake. Gets away from one tackler, but not the next. He's wrapped up and dropped. Eric England.
You know what? Eric England gets the sack because of great coverage by the guy who we talked about at the opening of the show, Eric Carter. Carter is in coverage on the outside, and that's where Nealon Green wants to go, right there. He wants to go to the outside, but Carter has blanket coverage, and that allows that defensive front four to get there. Eric England is the beneficiary of great coverage from Eric Carter.
So now it's 2nd and 14. Play action. Green. More pressure. Herman Smith had him, but he let him get away. He's still dodging guys. Green still at his feet and finally wrapped up by Steve Anderson. Just ran out of time.
All right, it's settled. His knee is fine. His knee is fine. Boy, he could not find an open receiver. Again, tremendous coverage downfield by the BC Lions because Nealon Green bought himself enough time to have a cappuccino back there. Watch this. Lots of time. He bounces out, makes Eric England miss in the middle, steps up here, good movement to the outside. I think Eric England missed him twice.
It was just a matter of time before somebody got him. You were starting to think on that play. This ball is kicked away to the Jet. And he's going the wrong way right now as the Edmonton special teams push him way back.
Went the wrong way and then got injured at the end of it.
A loss of 12. And he is still down. He's having a rough night. He's got the touchdown, but it's the second time he's going to have to pick himself up off the turf tonight. This ball game is the first of 2 we have for you this week. Tomorrow night on Adidas Friday Night Football, the Hamilton Tiger Cats will go into Sky Dome to face the Argos, who still have a lot of off-field issues swirling around them.
Quite frankly, the Argos have to show something offensively. They've had nothing offensively in 2 games versus Montreal. If they don't, you wonder how long it will go on with the way they have things in Toronto. But it is a rivalry that we'll look forward to revisiting. This is the return by Jimmy the Jet. Going backwards, one thing that the Lions talked about is they want him to run more north-south, and then at the end of it, hurt that, looked like his right shin. And looking at his ankle. One of the things Greg Mons did, he did a couple things. First of all, they always had just Cunningham back on punt returns. He was the only return man, and they put 11 men on the line of scrimmage. What Greg Mons wanted to do was put 2 back there. Put Chuck Levy back there with Cunningham because teams were punting it to the corners and making Cunningham run all the way to the sideline to pick up the football. That winded him, and so when he did have the ball in his hands, he wasn't as effective. Greg Mons made that change. Also took him off kickoff return.
Eric Chestnut, 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line after that loss of 12. That pass is out of the hands of a receiver, came dangerously close to being picked off. And that is the 3-minute warning here at BC Place. The BC Lions continue to hold a 5-point lead on the Eskimos. It is 10-5 in Vancouver. Now, Glenn, remember when you were in grade school, when you had your class picture taken, all the tall guys used to have to be in the back row.
Yeah.
And I don't think Schultze qualifies there. You know, James.
Well, he's sitting down. James is standing up in the picture. That's the difference there.
Those guys will be all set to chat it up at the half.
You know, I want to congratulate you in advance because you're a veteran broadcaster, of course, but a rookie to the football crew.
Right.
Just got a couple of games left, buddy.
Yeah, thanks very much. You keep pushing the rookie status as far as you possibly can, and you know I'm trying to play along here.
You know, late
in
for
a good-natured kind of way.
Well, late for a meeting or 2, and then you have to get that extra game. 7 games in the CFL gives you veteran status.
Right.
You've got a couple more. We gave you 8.
Yeah.
You got a couple more to do, but you're close, buddy.
Yeah.
You're close.
Yeah. Well, this one is I believe this is 7 or 8. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know
7.
is I'm probably going to be a rookie even like 5 or 6 years from now, as far as you're concerned.
Oh, but you're a good rookie.
Now, Damon Allen took a big pop on that last play. He's up and he's moving towards the sidelines.
And a guy who is definitely not a rookie and a guy that the Lions don't want to get hit like that is Damon Allen, who turns 37 years old on Saturday.
But he is also very durable. Rarely misses a start. In fact, this is his 72nd consecutive start tonight. You really got to hit him hard to knock him out of a game. However, that drive did end, and here comes the Gizmo Williams getting back to around the 45.
Well, you know, the thing is with Damon Allen is that you normally don't get hits like that on him. He's kind of like Wayne Gretzky in that way. No one could ever get Wayne Gretzky into the boards and really lay a good hit on him. He's very elusive, and that's what Damon Allen and this guy can do as well. Nealon Green. You don't get good solid hits on him. You just kind of hang on and bring them down.
And the thing with Nealon Green, he missed 6 starts last year, but the injuries were not, impact-type injuries. There were pulls and strains and things like that.
Really worked hard in the offseason with Gizmo Williams to get himself back in running shape.
And Green will start from his own side of the field. Terry Vaughn gets him into BC territory. A big gain for a first down. Yeah, Gizmo's fitness regimen is legendary, and he worked very hard with Nealon Green.
Again, David Benefield is coming from this side, providing pressure on Nealon Green, and Benefield, there he is right there, is really doing a lot of pass rushing, things he did last year, but when Nealon Green gets in trouble, he's got to go to his go-to guy, and that's Terry Vaughn.
Our Farhan Lalji tells us that Damon Allen is fine. He didn't even want an ice bag. Waved it away. A flag is down on this play. The receiver was wide open, but we'll see what the flags are about.
I think Keith Franklin, the safety who came on the blitz, was offside. It looked like it. Now, whether he was drawn or not, I'm not sure. But the BC Lions obviously want to see if Nealon Green can handle the pressure, because they're sending a lot of pressure at him. A lot of blitz packages.
Offside. BC number 11. First down repeated.
Exactly what it was. Keith Franklin got a little anxious, but look how many people. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 3 on the outside, 6, 7, 8 that are coming. The BC Lions, and it was to the left of your screen, Keith Franklin, that jumped a little bit offside before the snap of the ball, but they're sending pressure to try and make Nealon Green read it and get rid of it.
1st and 5. He gets rid of this one by handing it off. The ball is loose, but it seems as though it was after the whistle. The officials have not signaled anything.
Well, you know what? I didn't hear a whistle, but the official right there is signaling it was down.
And it is a first down for the Eskimos, as the rookie maybe got away with one.
The ground can't make you fumble, and Craig Carr looked like he went down before that ball came out. Take a look at it right here. You're going to have a perfect view of it as Craig Carr goes down. Now, is he down? He's down on the ground. The knees had touched. He was down, and a good call.
Good call by the officials. Green swings it out, far side. Nigel Williams wrapped up by number 4, Ian Franklin.
Raphael Ball is out of the game for the BC Lions. He was injured last week, and they put Ian Franklin in the corner, so you wonder if Nigel Williams would become more involved in the offense. Ian Franklin, who used to be an Edmonton Eskimo, but hadn't started this year on the corner for the BC Lions, gets his first start tonight, so you think that Nigel Williams might want to go after him a little bit.
He's a non-import, was raised in the Calgary area, born in the States. Here's Green on 2nd and 7. Man is wide open. The tackle is there, but it looks like it's enough for a first down.
It is really the kind of defense that Nealon Green can take advantage of. When you start to send a lot of pressure on defense, what you're doing is you're leaving your secondary in one-on-one coverage. And you're asking those defensive backs to cover Terry Vaughn, Donnie Ashley, Kes McCorvey. We saw what he did last week. You're trying to put the pressure of the game on your secondary. Eric Carter can handle it, but can they handle it across the board is the question.
And with just over a minute to go, the Edmonton Eskimos are threatening to take the lead here. Green out of the shotgun on first down, far side to Williams again, who is getting involved in his ball game. Nigel Williams came into the game with just 63 yards, but it looks like he's going to be much more active tonight.
Well, and he's going to be to the wide side, and that's where Ian Franklin will line up on every single defensive play. Ian Franklin will flop sides and go to the wide side of the field where Nigel Williams lines up.
He had a huge year in Toronto.
Please reset the game clock to 55 seconds.
See, there's Ian Franklin working his way back to the wide side of the field. Basically, he's going to be matched up. Well, now there's a little bit of a timeout, so it looks like Franklin's going to head over and get some equipment fixed up.
Nigel Williams had a big year catching the ball in Toronto for Don Matthews in 1998, a 1,000-yard season, and Matthews maintains that he has not been utilized properly since that time. And he has big plans for him this season in Edmonton. 2nd and 6, big play. Nealon Green fires one into Terry Vaughn for the first down, just outside the 10.
Well, I thought for sure that Green would try and get out there to Nigel Williams. Ian Franklin went off to either talk to the training staff or get some equipment fixed, and Mike Crum came into the game. Mike Crum is a backup safety, now being asked to play the corner against Nigel Williams.
1st and 10 for the Eskimos. Green with lots of time. Lofts it up into the end zone. Touchdown! Terry Vaughn. And the Eskimos take the lead.
Nealon Green wanted to go to Nigel Williams. Nigel Williams was in that matchup we talked about with Mike Crum, and that's where he wanted to go initially, but Williams on the pattern in the play really only had a little hook pattern. He was about 5-yard line, so Nealon Green says, hey, why just take that 5-yard gain when I can take this one? He had Terry Vaughn in behind Raphael Ball.
How about the pass? Good touch on that ball.
About as good as it gets.
Good touch on that ball to a veteran receiver. His 2nd touchdown of this season. And with the extra point, it is 12-10. The Eskimo offense comes alive.
Sometimes you think that a quarterback might get too greedy trying to go in for the touchdown when he has a wide open receiver, and I'm talking about Nigel Williams. Watch Nigel Williams on the play. Here he is. He just got that little hook pattern. See, he's wide open. Crum's got 5-6 yard cushion on him. But why take that one when you got Terry Vaughn open behind Raphael Ball? And you wonder, you don't want to get too greedy. Take what they give you, but listen, they gave us both. They gave the Edmonton receivers, both guys were open, so of course Green took the touchdown.
And you've got Vaughn, a 6-year veteran, running against a rookie in Ball who's been burned a couple of times this year, and they took advantage there. 5 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons for Terry Vaughn.
You know, and you got to give credit to that offensive line on the play too, because when Nealon Green looks first to Nigel Williams, sees him open, but says, wait a minute, Vaughn also open, I can go deeper into the back of the end zone. That means he's getting lots of time to throw the football. So all around good offensive play for the Edmonton Eskimos, and we got a game.
He had lots of time on that one. And here is a look at the scoring drive. It was a lot of Terry Vaughn down the field, and he finished it.
Well, there was a lot of Terry Vaughn because the Lions went to a lot of man-to-man.
So the Lions have 23 seconds to respond before the half. Here's Chuck Levy looking to make something happen along the outside. He's pushed out of bounds just beyond his 30-yard line. And Damon Allen, who took that hit on the last series from Robert Brown, is fine.
Yeah, he was shaken up. He took a while to get off the field, talked to the training staff, talked to Billy Rochelle, the head trainer for the BC Lions, and he's all right.
Very durable. That's the, you know, one of the underrated aspects of this guy's career. He's got a lot of stats, but obviously it's because he's been able to stay so healthy. And as you pointed out, it's hard to get a clean lick on the guy. And now he's got 17 seconds to work with, and a long way to go. Goes to the air for Alfred Jackson. That is his first catch of the ball game.
They need 3 first downs to get into field goal range. John Baker has a very strong leg. They will try a 55-yard field goal if they can get in range, but they need about 20 more yards to do it.
9 seconds on the clock. Allen looking for the sidelines, and there's nobody home.
Chuck Levy ran the wrong pattern. The newcomer in the offense was supposed to turn out. That's where the ball was going the whole time. There was no indecision from Damon Allen. He wanted to throw that one to the sideline and stop the clock. Chuck Levy zigged and didn't zag.
You gotta hate that when you get the zig instead of the zag.
Yeah,
I said zag.
I said zag,
not
man.
Zig.
You're the bottle cap. You're supposed to be over there by the sideline, not in the middle of the field.
That's right.
This is a little long for John Baker.
Yeah, I'm thinking
70-something yarder is a bit out of his range.
We are in the friendly confines of the air-conditioned dome, but yeah, that would be that'd be a long field goal. So Lou will come on. And don't take anything for granted after what we saw from the special teams units last week.
Well, you know, and it is one of the unique rules in the Canadian Football League. The no yards rule makes that you have to return every single kick. So with 5 seconds left, this could still be a huge play for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Lou angles it a little bit. Gizmo takes it at his own 35-yard line, and no, nothing going on there. Why tire myself out? And that is the first half of play here at BC Place. The Edmonton Eskimos strike late, take a 2-point lead. It's 12-10 Edmonton. Let's take you back to live at the half.
The CFL live on TSN at the half.
Well, we talked and we played up the running ability of both of these quarterbacks so much for that. We didn't see much running from either one of them. In fact, both of them pretty much stayed in the pocket, but both were relatively effective. Nealon Green especially on that last drive.
Yeah, last drive they looked good. Edmonton, James, just hung around and stuck in there and weathered the storm, and then they capitalized on opportunity and they put together a great drive. I think Edmonton has done a great job of containing Damon Allen. He's shown us flashes of his magic and what he can do with left hand and right hand. But Nealon Green, you can't convince me that this young man is healthy. We don't see him moving around. I still don't think he's 100%. But Chris, I honestly believe that this guy is going to be special when he's 100%.
Oh,
but right now, we're not seeing it.
I don't think he's 100% either. But I'll tell you what, if your quarterback isn't 100%, then get after him. Watch Steve Anderson on this play. I mean, this is pass rush technique executed perfectly. He's going to swat Sean Daniels. We're almost out of the picture here. Every defensive football play has two parts to it, the guy who forces the play and the guy who makes the play. That is a great job of getting pressure on Nealon Green. If you get pressure on him, you'll force him into bad decisions. Advantage BC Lions, Eric.
Chris, on the other side of the ball, BC only has 10 points, but I still think they've done a nice job. They've mixed the ball up. They've mixed up their calls well. Joe Paopao really is calling a good football game. And at Hates 33, Robert Drummond still has those sweet feet. BC would have liked to have the lead at halftime. They gave up that last drive, but still, I'm impressed with what I see out of BC in the first half, James.
And this is a real tight defensive game as compared to Edmonton's last crazy, wacky game last week against Winnipeg. They only have one major, but it came at a crucial time on their last drive of the first half. Nealon Green's first TD pass of the year as Terry Vaughn gets in and gives the Eskimos a 2-point lead as they head to the locker room. More ahead. 3 more games on Friday in the CFL. Adidas Friday Night Football has the Tiger Cats and the Argos. We're on the air at 7 Eastern for that one. Also, the Alouettes and the Bombers, and the Stampeders and the Rough Riders out in Saskatchewan. Okay, boys, pick a game and talk about it.
Okay, I got the Calgary Stampeders. This is a polished football team going into Saskatchewan, but you know, I have a gut feeling that the Rough Riders are going to play a good game. I don't care if they're 0-3. I still believe that you can lose some football games and improve and progress as a football team, and I think the Saskatchewan Rough Riders have done that. Having said that, they still need a couple breaks. A fumble here, a key penalty, but I would be shocked if this one isn't close, Matt.
Okay, Chris,
pick a game.
Well, you know, I'm taking Toronto-Hamilton. Toronto-Hamilton, hey, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of amazing stories, justifiably amazing stories that are being covered and well documented going around the Toronto camp. Can't believe it. But what I can believe is that one of the greatest rivalries in the Canadian Football League, 173rd meeting between Toronto and Hamilton, is going to happen tomorrow night on Friday night Adidas football. Let me say this, folks. No matter what happens is going on in each and every camp, when these two teams get going, anything can happen. I've been on both sides. Believe you me, it's going to be a good football game.
I don't get the pick. I get Winnipeg, Montreal, and you know, Winnipeg deserves a fate certainly better than 0-3. They've played good football these first 3 weeks. They played competitive against Montreal, and if Troy Westwood makes kicks against Calgary and Edmonton, this football team could be 2-1. And that's really unfair for Troy Westwood because the guy's 14 out of 17, including a 55-yarder, but he's had those 2 big misses. But again, Winnipeg needs a win tomorrow night. Montreal comes in this game, completely different situation. They're 3-0 and full of confidence. But interestingly enough, each of the last 3 years, they've been 3-0, and they've lost in week 4. This is one time Dave Ritchie hopes the Montreal Alouettes are consistent, James.
Indeed he does. And remember, we only have Hamilton and Toronto tomorrow night, so if you're out in Winnipeg, if you're out in Saskatchewan, the only way you're going to see it is to buy a ticket. Wherever you are in this CFL nation, here's how to go out and see a game. Jot down these numbers. Please log on to tsn.ca/CFL for the league's #1 website. All our features, you got up close, you have sounds of the game, you have columns by the likes of Chris Schultz and Eric Tillman and Matt Dunnigan this week writing a very informative column about inside the panel. What's it really like hanging out with Chris Schultz, watching what he eats, talking to him before the game, having pizza.
Oh,
What's
God.
Chris Schultz really like? Find out this week. www.tsn.ca/CFL. Well, the Edmonton Eskimos found themselves down 10-1 after a quarter, but they kind of hung around, got that last touchdown, and now find themselves ahead heading towards the third quarter. Don Matthews has to be relatively pleased. He spoke with our Farhan Lalji.
Thank you very much, Coach. A bit of a rough start in the first quarter, but your team made some adjustments and did much better in the second quarter.
Yeah, you know, we didn't get any rhythm going very much in that first part of the game. Then they had a lot of short plays that kept us off the field. We got a little rhythm going. I think we'll be better in the second half.
Talk about Nealon Green. He looked very good in that last drive.
Yeah, Nealon's a good quarterback, and he certainly has run around a little bit, and if he can do that, it's a hot night. Maybe he can tire some guys out.
Coach, good luck in the second half.
Check out the numbers, and I want you to quickly glance down both columns. Unbelievably even for a CFL game. 10-9 first downs. The passing yards only 9 apart. BC down 97. That's low for them after half. Rushing dead even. Net yards only 5 apart. No turnovers. And the time of possession just 2 minutes apart. This has been about as even a CFL game as you could have. And the other key statistic, those 0-0 in turnovers, and that's why it's so low scoring and so close, really. If you have a couple of turnovers, a couple of interceptions, or a fumble either way, and this game could change dramatically in the third quarter. We're getting set to kick off the second half in this one. Jimmy the Jet, a turbulent landing in this one, but he did ground it for 6. And the Lions and Eskimos in a tight one at BC Place.
Don Matthews, Edmonton Eskimos have a 2-point lead as we begin the second half of play here at BC Place. Let's join Farhan Lalji, who's with the other head coach.
All right, Coach, a great start to the first half, but in the second quarter, Edmonton was able to get back in it. What did you say to your team at halftime?
Well, we just got to regroup and get going. We've got dinged a little bit, and we're thinning some spots, and we're just going to have to pull up the slack. But we just got to keep executing, and, you know, we gave up a couple plays, and you know, it's a close game, and it's anybody's to go out and win the last 30 minutes here.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Damon Allen, so far, both quarterbacks have looked pretty good. How about his numbers, Glenn?
Boy, they have. Damon Allen distributing the football. Looks pretty good. 13 of 20. Moving it to the middle and to the right side primarily. Had some trouble on the left. And Nealon Green's playing well also.
And he is going to be taking the field very shortly. We'll show you his numbers in a moment. But Damon Allen will turn 37 on Saturday. Doesn't look 37. Doesn't play like he's 37, does he?
No, and he's going to play till he's 40. He said he wants to play 3 more years. Of course, he needs 250 yards around there per game.
I think it is.
253 per game to break Ron Lancaster's all-time record for yardage passing.
Here's Donnie Ashley on the kickoff return for the Eskimos, looking for some room. There is absolutely none there. A lot of black jerseys. And that's where Nealon Green and the Edmonton Eskimos will begin and try to keep the momentum going from a solid finish to the first half.
Well, look at his distribution as well to the right side. Not as much over the middle as we expected, but Nealon Green has completed his last 9 straight passes. So he's on track.
You see on that right side, 6 of 7. A lot of those going to Nigel Williams, who's been involved in this ball game tonight.
Well, some injury problems for the BC Lions secondary. They now have Alfred Jackson playing the corner.
We mentioned earlier he did play defensive back in the NFL, so it's not like a brand new position to him, but he'd much prefer to be on the offensive side.
Well, Ian Franklin was injured in the first half. Ian Franklin was playing the wide side corner, so now Alfred Jackson will go out and play the wide side. You mentioned he played in the NFL. The NFL, whenever he went down there, and he went down a couple of times, always considered Alfred Jackson a defensive back. He never got a tryout as a receiver.
Wanted to, but they would never give him, you know, once they get something into their minds in the NFL, that is it. Here's Nealon Green. His arm was batted as he threw that ball, and that is that. So much for picking up on the momentum as Eric England got his hand on Nealon Green as he tried to deliver the pass.
Eric England has been in there a couple of times on Nealon Green, and this time he gets his arm as he tries to throw the football. Right now, Eric England and David Benefield are both primarily pass rushers in this game. They're not asking them to throw. We saw to cover, excuse me. They saw Nealon Green's pass distribution over the middle. He was just 2 for 2. That was an area where Calgary took advantage of BC last week.
Here's the Jet, who had a rough first half, taking a couple of knocks, but he's also scored the lone touchdown for the Lions. And he could not bust that one at all. Damon Allen and Robert Drummond take to the field. Here's his numbers from the first half, running that ball.
Better numbers for Robert Drummond in this game than he's had over the last 3 weeks. Drummond was just averaging 3.8 yards per carry coming in. That's not Robert Drummond.
That's not him.
No.
That is not Robert Drummond. But it's been the situations that the Lions have been in so far that's prevented them from really running the ball, right?
Well, what's interesting now is Alfred Jackson's got to play both ways.
Look at that.
Now he's in a receiver.
1st and 10 from their own 27, and that pass is batted down as well. Yeah, it could be a busy night for number 7.
Gets back in the lineup for the first game this year. Had an ankle injury, so now Alfred Jackson, not only are you back, and we want to see what you can do on offense, but we also want you to play corner and probably cover some kicks.
I was going to say, they say get out there on the special teams unit. I think he's got to call his agent.
Throw back to the old days where everyone played both ways.
That's right. No gain on that play, obviously, so it'll be 2nd and 10. Out of the shotgun, Allen, everybody out. And again, the pass is batted down, and it is almost completed to Chuck Levy. Jackson had a shot at it. Levy went up, looked like he had his hands on it, but couldn't bring it down. It would have been nowhere near a first down anyway.
Boy, Doug Peterson is really creating havoc in that defensive line and against the offensive line for the BC Lions. He really, to the left of your screen there, took a couple of Lion blockers. Just watch Doug Peterson and what he does on the play. See how he took Harden and then he got off onto Chris Perez. That offensive line, everybody up there has to be aware of where Doug Peterson is.
You mentioned earlier that Doug Peterson's stats may not be impressive. You don't measure Doug Peterson by stats, do you?
No, and he doesn't care what the stats look like.
This guy would like to put up a stat. He'd like to return one all the way. Hasn't had one in a while, but it's not going to happen. Doug Peterson and the Eskimos cling to that 2-point lead. Hey, football fans, have you checked out football this week with Glenn Suter and Chris Schultz? Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Who do you have this week?
Well, we're going to recap Week 4 in the CFL. We'll take an in-depth look at all the highlights from Week 4. We'll also look at the all-90s team in the National Football League. And you know what's interesting about that show? Chris Schultz has his own cheerleaders. They come into the studio, and they're all hanging around the studio. They're just cheering, go Chris, go Chris.
Schultzy groupies. Here's Nealon Green. Lots of time. Goes over the middle. Was looking for Vaughn. Good coverage by Keith Franklin.
And it was great timing by Keith Franklin. Terry Vaughn wanted a penalty flag thrown, but he's not going to get it. Watch Franklin. He's going to take his drop, and when he does and breaks on the ball, watch the timing. It's right on time. There's the play action. Slides to the left side, and then as he comes up, watch the timing. The ball's there now, and the hit is right there. It's perfect timing.
And that Lions defense finally breaks up Green's groove. That's his first miss in his last 12 pass attempts. Little play action. Pocket is collapsing. Look out. Down he goes. Noah Cantor got him.
12 players play on defense. More than half of them were rushing Nealon Green. 7 BC Lions were rushing Nealon Green. They left the pressure back on that secondary, and we talked about it in the first half, but this is obviously, look at this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's one more because Franklin's to the left of your screen, outside of the picture. He's also rushing. Look at the pass rush Nealon Green has to face. There's just no throwing lanes to look down the field for Green.
Fleming gets one away, end over end. Chuck Levy has it at his 40, falls down at about his 43. The Lions came into this game last in the CFL in sacks. They had 2 of them, and both from one guy, Noah Cantor. Now they have 2 tonight the pass rush has improved for BC.
And they've gone, it's improved because they're sending some more people. They're not just relying on the 4 guys up front. Greg Mons feels like he has a better defensive line now than he had last year. And last year he had Johnny Scott in the lineup. Johnny Scott's now with the Toronto Argonauts. He traded away Scott, so he feels like they're playing consistently. They don't have the stats, but he gets some pressure from his linebacking core, and they've sent some secondary guys like Keith Franklin, and that has helped out the front 4 for the BC Lions.
If you want more football, we told you about football this week. We got lots here on this show. You can also check out our website at tsn.ca/CFL. Lots of football for you there. 1st and 10 from their own 30 after a holding penalty was tacked on. Sean Millington looking for the outside. Here's a guy who's tough to bring down when he gets the legs pumping. First down.
In past years, Sean Millington may have spoken up a little bit more about not getting the football. He is now settled into BC. It's where he wants to be. It's where he wants to play. Obviously, he would love to see the ball more, but he doesn't complain about it this year. He's not talked about it. He quite simply just says, listen, when I have had a chance to run the football over 20 times in a game, I've accomplished everything I've wanted to. He really feels like he has nothing to prove to any coaching staff.
Ran for 225 yards in one game last year with the Edmonton Eskimos against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Very memorable day for him.
Sean Millington, say hello to Doug Peterson. Because once again, Doug Peterson right in the middle of that deep. On the last play, Millington ran outside and had some success. This time working on Hendrickson.
Wow.
See Peterson? He
Look
just
at the strength there.
Swallowed up Scott Hendrickson, and then also did it with Sean Millington. And Peterson basically just saying, listen, you run outside all you want, but you're not running in here.
A little SFU meeting in the pits.
That's right.
Couple of former Klansmen meeting hot and heavy along the line of scrimmage. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Allen backpedaling. Gets away. Damon Allen short of the first down. But he eludes what looked to be a sure sack.
Well, again, the pocket collapses on him, and he really had no chance to get the gun out of the holster. It just collapsed on him. He's looking downfield. Watch how quickly it happens. There's one little peek downfield, and then see Hunter from the outside, close it in. That flushes him up the middle, and Mobley cleans up. But when that pocket closes down on you, it's like you got to get rid of that ball or take off in a hurry, or you're going to get labeled.
So on the last drive, the BC Lions brought some heat on Nealon Green, and the Eskimos answered right back. Right back at you. Lou gets it away. And here's Gizmo. Sean Millington's got a good hold on him, and he's not going to let him go. Good tackle by a good special teams player. It's still 12-10 at BC Place as Nealon takes the field. The Edmonton Eskimos finished the first half with a decent little touchdown drive, took the lead, but they have not been able to keep that ball rolling so far as we're approaching the 9.5-minute mark of the third quarter. Nealon Green and the Eskimos will begin from their own 25-yard line. A little option pitch out to Craig Carr. Let's take you down to the sidelines. Barhan Lalji.
Thanks, guys. We've got an injury update on Lions cornerback Ian Franklin. Now, late in the first half, he suffered a strained neck just turning his head. Lions trainer Billy Rochelle called it a stinger. He said he had numbness going down both of his arms. He does not expect Franklin to return in this game. That means Alfred Jackson will be a very busy man.
Well, that'll be interesting to see. Like you said, Glenn, it's like the old days. 2nd and 5 for Edmonton. Green with lots of time. Flag is down. He's got a man. It's Sean Daniels.
Nice tackle there by a receiver.
Yeah.
Alfred Jackson.
But we'll have to wait and see what the flag is about. What do you think, Glenn?
Looked like it was going against, by the reaction of Nealon Green, it was going against Edmonton.
Holding. Edmonton 53. Penalties decline.
Now both guards.
Third down.
Both guards getting the penalty stats now, because remember back in the first half, a big gain wiped out when Val St. Germain had a holding call. Now Tim Princeton gets his turn. So both guards have one for the books. They're working on Noah Cantor and Marvin Thomas in the middle of that defense.
And Fleming is set to punt this ball away. High, good punt. Backs up the Jet to his own 25. Spins around, ball is loose.
Oh.
And he just got back there in time.
It sat there, it seemed like forever. But once again, the Jet is just not running with the same aggression as he did a year ago. You know, his first move this year has always been sort of sideways and backwards. See him turning around again now. There was a wall of defenders, but look how long the ball sits there.
A CFL All-Star in 1999. He was really BC's unsung hero. Led the league in all-purpose yards.
He's banged up tonight.
Yeah.
Can't even move that right arm.
Yeah, he's had to pick himself up off the turf a couple of times in the first half.
Had an ankle problem. He's got a hand problem there that Billy Richelts is looking at.
So Damon Allen begins on first down from his own 23. The handoff goes to Drummond, who runs into a crowd. Albert Reese was there. And there will be no gain on that play. As the defense on both sides has started to take over here.
Well, you know what's interesting in this game? We have not seen a turnover.
That's right.
It's been ball control for both quarterbacks. No mistakes made from both quarterbacks. And got to give them credit because, like you mentioned, the defenses are picking it up now on both sides of the field. So give the quarterbacks credit. They're controlling the football and not making that key error.
You get the feeling that something's going to bust soon. There was a gain of 2. It's 2nd and 8. Allen puts it up and bounces it right off the shoulder pads of Chuck Levy.
Well, they wanted to see him, and this is not what they wanted to see.
No. That was a big play on 2nd and long. It was a first down, and Levy just dropped it.
Well, they know that he can do it all, but he hasn't taken as many reps running patterns. And the one thing that he will see when he comes back and looks at this film is that he didn't come back towards the football and back towards Damon Allen. What he did is he ran across the middle. And watch how he just stays high. See how he stays along the line? If he comes back a little bit, he faces up with that football more squarely. It's a better chance to catch the ball, but that's one that he just should have had.
You got to keep in mind, too, he's playing his first game since a playoff game in the NFL. January. Punt is blocked. And the Lions better grab that. Eskimos have it. And they will set up shop on the 20-yard line when we come back. The first big turning point, we'll see.
Swipe your club card at...
This is the first big play of the ball game, and it's made by Ricky Walters at the top, who's going to go one-on-one with Robert Drummond. Now, fairness to Robert Drummond, he feels like this ball should be punted by the time it is, because he goes out to step out to Ricky Walters. See, he thinks the ball should be gone, so he doesn't block him. Now, what Louis Passaglio was trying to do was directional punt the football to one side, and he went right over to Ricky Walters, took a little bit too long to get it out of there. Drummond doesn't block him, and Walters makes the big play.
You tack on a no yards penalty, and they're at the 17. First down for the Eskimos. Green out of the shotgun, going into the end zone, wide open. Kez McCorvey, touchdown, Edmonton.
Oh, he just keeps doing it. He is a route runner. There was no one around because Bo Lewis got deked.
Bad.
Yeah. Nealon Green again with lots of time to throw the football because he initially looks to his right. Good coverage on that side of the field, but the Lions dropped the coverage on the backside, and it was just one-on-one. Kez McCorvey on Bo Lewis. And there's McCorvey. See, Lewis is just trying to recover. Number 17 way back.
So the first big play does pay dividends for the Edmonton Eskimos. They did it in a hurry. They made it look easy. They add the extra points. And now the lead is 9. It's 19-10 Eskimos.
Great pattern by Kez McCorvey, who's a route runner, and receivers have to be salesmen when they're running patterns. Kez McCorvey is right there. Now watch. Hold it right there. Look at the out move. See, he comes down, makes that big out move, sells it like a good salesman, and then comes back. And watch Bo Lewis. He's like, whoa, I thought you were running it out. And Nealon Green is like deer in the headlights. He sees that. The eyes get real big, and his all I got to do is deliver the ball because Kes McCorvey is wide open, and Lewis is going, ooh, he got me on that one. He got me on that one.
Here's Chuck Levy looking to make amends for a dropped pass on the last drive of the BC Lions. Returns it straight into the middle of the field to about the 25. And Nealon Green had the same look on his face that Dan Crowley had last week when this guy got open for 4 touchdowns. Tonight, he has not been that active. That was only his second catch of the game, but doesn't matter.
It looks like Kes McCorvey is going to do this to a lot of defensive backs. Derek Lewis is a good cover man at the halfback position, but hey, that's the game. Sometimes you get beat. Now Bo Lewis just has to have a short memory and go line up again when he's on defense and just forget about that one because...
Are you speaking from experience here?
Hey, it happens to the best of them, man, I'm telling you.
All right, first down from the BC 25. A handoff to Sean Millington.
I tell you what, you know, sometimes for the young people watching this game, the young kids that are young football players, when you're a receiver and you just give your little head fake or a little shoulder fake, watch how it's sold, though. Look at the outcut. Bang, I'm going out. He takes 3 steps to that outcut before he comes back. That's selling the pattern. See, 3 cut, bang, and then a nice jab step back to the middle of the field, wide open.
Don Matthews, who's been around a little bit and has seen some ball players, told you and I yesterday that Kes McCorvey is the best route running slot back he has ever seen.
Yeah, and he's been with some good receivers throughout his career as a head coach. So that's high praise for Kes McCorvey. When he runs patterns like that, you can see why he's talking about him. And of course, 4 touchdowns last week versus Winnipeg against Rasheed Gale, a couple of them, and really turned Rasheed Gale around last week. So Kes McCorvey he's got a few moves in the bag.
No question about it. We're going to take a quick break and injury timeout. It's 19-10 Eskimos in Vancouver. You know, we're talking a lot about Kes McCorvey, and rightfully so, but how about this guy? There's Ricky Walters, the 7-year veteran. He was the guy that got his hand on the punt, made the big play. Here's a guy who's a role player who's had it being a great start to this season. They picked him up, former Saskatchewan Rough Rider.
Well, there's some good numbers, and he's made some spectacular catches. We've seen a lot of the games and a lot of diving catches for Ricky Walters, and Don Matthews had high praise for him as well. He said because he's a role player, the things that he does on the football field opens things up for other people. And that's why Kes McCorvey gets some one-on-ones, because Ricky Walters is running hard on his patterns. He's drawing some defense to him, gives Kes McCorvey the one-on-one opportunity.
So now it's time for Damon Allen and the BC Lions to respond. Gets away from the heat, and he's going to run. Allen in a lot of space, and he is so dangerous when he's got all that kind of room. A huge game.
Look how smooth Damon Allen at 37 years old on Saturday. Doug Peterson has a shot at him, but watch how he gets out of there and how smooth he is in the open field. Look, Doug Peterson has him. Whoa! Hendrickson just got a piece. Watch this move. The nice little cut there to the outside. Whoa! He is so smooth running the football. Doesn't even look like he's moving until he goes by you.
Yeah, and then you realize he's moving.
He's moving. Doug Peterson had a shot, but this little cut block right there by Hendrickson just gave Allen a little seam.
And he's going to run out of the pocket here and throw to Chuck Levy, who's having a tough time corralling that ball. That was a tough pass and a tough catch to make.
Chuck Levy looks a little bit out of his element as a receiver, and you know, he's a backup defensive back. They think that he can do a lot. He's a running back in the National Football League, drafted in the 2nd round in '94 by the Arizona Cardinals. Here's a guy that has not taken a lot of reps as a receiver, and it looks like it right now.
Joe's not happy.
Well, he wants that catch because now his offense is in 2nd and long. Worst scenario for an offensive coordinator to be in.
And Levy is out wide. 5 receivers. Allen going over the top, looking for Jackson. No, and no flags.
Again,
strong coverage.
I don't know. I mean, it was good coverage. I just wondered if there was not a screening or a pass interference. Alfred Jackson really not arguing the point at all. He's just going to try and go down the sideline. Damon Allen just wants to throw it up and see if his guy can come up with a big play, but watch the coverage. That looked like a little bit of screening to me by Ralph Staten.
And on the other end, Damon Allen is 0 for his last 6 passes. And Alfred's just winded because he knows he has to go back out in the field and play defense now.
Get that oxygen on the sideline for Alfred Jackson.
This time they get the punts away, and it's a good one by Louis. Backs Gizmo up close to his own 10-yard line. The Giz has got some room up the middle, and he just couldn't break away, but a good return nonetheless out to the 35. You know, you always hold your breath, don't you?
You still do.
You have to.
You still do, and Robert Drummond gets a piece of Giz, or he gets his 27th punt return touchdown. He hit a seam, moves to the left, that gets the coverage moving, and then back up into the middle. And you can't relax against this guy, but Drummond gets a little piece of him right there, just enough, because he's going to outrun Marvin Thomas to the end zone. I guarantee you that. Or excuse me, Tom Hips.
He hasn't taken one all the way to the house since 1998, July of 98 against the Alouettes. Here's Nealon Green. Swinging that pass out, almost picked off by Alfred Jackson. It's to Nigel Williams, and it's a big gain. Now, Glenn, is that a product of Alfred Jackson playing both offense and defense? He was a little late on that play?
Well, you know what? It was just the decision that he made, you know, and again, he's playing both ways, so you got to wonder if he's starting to fatigue a little bit, and this is his first game, but he just made a decision to go after the football. Ball took a little while to get there. It had a little wobble on it. Jackson thought he could get there to the ball first. He doesn't, and when you make a gamble like that and it doesn't, and you don't get your hand on the ball, big play going to happen. Now, Alfred Jackson was close, but not close enough.
First down for the Eskimos. That one is short hopped. Looking for Donnie Ashley, and give Jackson a lot of credit here. He's doing his best.
Well, he had to go over and take a breath.
Yeah.
Now. He's over there on the sideline trying to catch his breath, and what they do now is put Mike Crum on the corner. That's exactly where Nealon Green wanted to go. He one-hopped to Donnie Ashley, but the thought there is get it out there to Donnie Ashley, a guy who can make good moves in the open field and go one-on-one with Mike Crum. Well, Alfred Jackson is sitting on the sideline, or standing. He's standing. He was standing on the sideline, not sitting.
Don't sit down. We need you. So it's 2nd and 10. Green again with lots of time, going to that far side of the field to Walters. It is going to be short of the first down, well short. It'll be interesting to see how the Eskimos continue to exploit that situation over there with the BC Lions defense.
Well, it is the wide side of the field, so it's going to be long throws the whole game for Nealon Green. But yeah, I think he will go over there. He knows that Alfred Jackson's tired. He knows Mike Crum is a backup safety working against Nigel Williams, and then they'll put the little guys out there, and Donnie Ashley and Fred Bailey, see if they can't get a little one-on-one matchup.
So here's Sean Fleming, who made one earlier from 52. This one is from 44 yards away. Lots of leg, and it is through. So tack on 3 more points for the Eskimos. 22-10.
You get the feeling that Sean Fleming is not hitting it like he would like to, but he is making them, so
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
You know, it's going through, but his reaction is, he's picky, I guess. So now Greg Mons definitely looks concerned, and he should be. Down by 12, and here's a stat for you. I had to check this twice to make sure it was right, but the Edmonton Eskimos in BC Place have won 14 of their last 16 games here dating back to 1989. That's unbelievable.
Well, last year these two teams played 4 times, including the preseason, and the road teams always won.
Damon Allen looking over the top. He's got Robert Drummond wide open. Drummond busting a few tackles, getting inside the 45. And that's got this place alive.
Robert Drummond does the old out and up, the old wheel pattern. He's down to the sideline, runs the out, and then turns up down the side. There's the pump fake on the out, and then look how open he is.
Gain of 31 on the play.
Well, it's the type of play the Lions offense is needed to get back in this one.
And Alfred Jackson is back out there. Allen out of the shotgun on first down. Going over the middle to Alfred Jackson. He's getting a lot of action tonight. They call him Action Jackson, and there's going to be plenty.
And he loves it. You love to be on the field as much as you can. And Alfred Jackson has been working. He's been working this pattern all game long, trying to get inside position. Get a little bit of inside position right there on Torrey Hunter. That's just enough to get a seam. And you're right at the safety, Chris Hardy, with the football.
And the Lions are at the 25 now. Another first down. Back-to-back big plays. And there's a pass that missed. Was looking for Sean Millington out of the backfield.
Well, it's one that Damon Allen wants back because there was a pick, or I guess if you're an offensive guy, it was a rub. But it was a rub by Robert Drummond to the inside and Mike Adams. They really had rubbed the defense into the middle. And Sean Millington had some room to the outside. Damon Allen just missed him.
And again, they're into that second and long situation.
On defense, we called it a pick. It was a pick, and it was illegal because picks are illegal.
Yes.
Offense, they call it rubs. We're just rubbing. It's just a little brush.
Just a rub.
It's the brush off.
Rub, brush. Just don't call it a pick. 2nd and 10. Again from the shotgun. Allen. He's got Mike Adams, and the pass went right through his hands.
Again, you got to have that one. Mike Adams has had a good start to this season and really earned the right to be in the starting lineup in training camp, but that's one he should have had.
He made a big splash.
Roughing the passer.
Oh, big break there.
First down.
Lions get another crack at it, and roughing the passer penalty on Damon Allen. Glenn Scrivener's the guy who got called. And Mike Adams is going to go over there and thank Scrivener. Here's the throw from Damon Allen. It's right on the money. Scrivener, who looked like his head was down. It looked like his head was down. I'm not so sure that Scrivener didn't know that the ball was thrown.
I don't know. Do you think
at least that's probably going to be a story, and he'll stick with it when he gets over to the sideline. Because it gives the Lions an extra shot at a touchdown. Now take a look. Is this a penalty or not? Damon Allen gets rid of the ball right there. Okay, 1,000.
Well, it was gone.
I don't know, roughing the passer.
Yeah, if you're going to call it by the book, the ball was gone. But you're right. He had his head down. It was a momentum thing. You can...
A real judgment call by the official.
You can interpret it two ways, I guess. We've got another injury timeout. The Lions have a new life. We'll take a quick break with 36 seconds to go, and the Lions threatening to get back on the board, trailing by 12. Perry Carter was the man who was down on the field, one of the corners for the Edmonton Eskimos. He's up and shaking that one off, Glenn.
You got to go up for 3 plays, so Carter goes out. We'll see who the Eskimos decide to put on the corner to replace him. Talked about the BC Lions. Franz Clarkson is in the game. He's a backup safety at the University of Manitoba. Now they're going to ask him to go out and play the corner, and that's exactly what they're going to ask him to do. It'll be the wide side corner on Jimmy the Jet Cunningham. So here you come. You're cold. You've been standing on the sidelines for a while. Come and play corner. And oh, by the way, you got to cover the Jet.
Who's already got a touchdown. 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. Allen looking for that corner. Going there, and it's too far. You are absolutely right, Glenn. That's exactly where they were going. Alfred Jackson wants a flag on Torrey Hunter, but no, sir.
Well, I think that Jimmy the Jet has a complaint over there as well, because it looked to me like his pattern. Watch number 21's pattern. See a little bit of right up at the top of your screen right here. Watch this. Is there a little bit of holding going on from Franz Clarkson, who comes in the game? No penalty. There's no penalty there. You can do that.
What'd you call that, a rub? that's a rub or a brush?
That's just a little bit of contact. Nothing wrong with that.
Hey, you do what you got to do when you're in Clarkson's shoes right now. It is 2nd and 10. Again from the 13. Robert Drummond on the end of a shovel pass. Not what they were looking for. What was the call there, Glenn?
Well, what you're trying to do is think that the Edmonton Eskimos are going to come with pressure and hope that they all run past, and you're kind of fooled by it. It's very similar to running like a draw play or a screen. Didn't work for Joe Paopao.
Well, time runs out on the BC Lions in this 3rd quarter. We'll be back with the 4th quarter, but right now let's take you back to CFL Control.
The CFL live on TSN at the quarter.
All right, Duthie, Tillman, Dunnigan, Schultz back here, and we talked about how one big play could change this game. Edmonton got that big play, and not only did they get the big play, but they followed it up right away, taking advantage right away, Matt.
That's right, and we see Nealon Green simply showing us his experience and what he brings to the table. Nealon Green simply takes a half-step roll, looks to the field here, brings the free safety, and then throws back to the open hole, and we already saw what Kes McCorvey does to the BC secondary. Hey, kudos to Nealon Green. He's got his eyes working. He's got his legs working. He's got the Edmonton Eskimos rolling, Chris.
And how about Ricky Walters, a young kid who was really determined to play, came in and blocked the kick. Remember, this is the same guy that caught the pass from Sean Fleming the week before to make a big play again for the Edmonton Eskimos. Hey, you want to solidify a job on a pro football team? Make plays that determine wins and losses. And right now, the reason that the Edmonton Eskimos are ahead is because of this kid, Ricky Walters, there.
Yeah, and speaking of making plays, in three-down football, it's very difficult to drive the ball methodically down the field. You have to make big plays. Tonight, BC dressed two guys that they thought could give them that dimension, Chuck Levy and Alfred Jackson. Levy's given them absolutely zero, and AJ, I believe, has only one reception. BC can get back in this game in the fourth quarter, but they certainly weren't helped by this last drive. They needed to get a touchdown, and it looks like they're going to have to settle for 3, James, so they're still down by 2 scores.
And Levy's drop leading directly to that block punt, which led to the touchdown. 10-1 was the score after 1 quarter of play, so BC doesn't have a touchdown. They only have 1 touchdown in the last 8 quarters of football. If you go back to the Calgary game in the 4th quarter of the Saskatchewan game, that's not enough.
And another good example, when you look at the numbers, how stats are sometimes not the only indication of the game, because BC really still showing that they've got the edge. Net yards, 250. They still have the edge in time of possession at 25 minutes. They certainly don't have it on the scoreboard where it matters most.
So this will be a chip shot for Louis from about 15 yards away to get them within 9. And Lou does not miss those. So I guess they got to take it at that point, but an odd call, I believe, on 2nd down on that little shovel pass to Robert Drummond. Regardless, it's a field goal instead of a touchdown for Greg Mons. And with 14:53 to go, the offense has to start punching it in. Greg Mons said his team had to forget about last week and the pounding they took in Calgary. And for the most part, I think they have.
Well, you know, they're not playing poorly, and they're controlling the football, but you have to come away with majors when you get down in the end in the green zone. They like to call it green, meaning go, not the red zone like most teams call it. But Greg Mons is unhappy about one thing, and that's the scoreboard.
Yeah. This is an important ball game. The Edmonton Eskimos have a chance to tie them for 2nd place. Let's take you down to the sidelines, bring in Farhan Lalji, who's with a guy that would love to be in this game. Farhan?
Thanks, Dave. Troy, Dave mentioned you would love to be in this game. You had a great game here at BC Place against BC last year. Talk to me about the injury right now and how you're feeling.
You know, right now it's just a severe case of turf toe, you know, but it's responding well to treatment and everything, and I should be back in about 2 to 3 weeks.
Now, you're not in the lineup running the ball, but you've got your quarterback back, and he can move the ball with his feet as well. Talk about Nealon.
Yes, exactly. He makes a lot of things happen, and he's an exciting player and everything, and we're happy that he's back with us right now.
All right, Troy, good luck with the injury. Hope to see you back soon.
All right, thank you.
And I'll tell you from experience is that turf toe is one of the most painful injuries you can get. And, you know, everyone says, well, what's wrong? Your big toe sore? I'm telling you, it is a painful, painful injury. Troy Mills would be playing if he could.
That's a big loss for the Eskimos. He's a great player, obviously. Had some injury problems last year as well. But speaking of making things happen, Donnie Ashley, a solid return on that kickoff, has the Eskimos set up at their own 47. Long swing pass to Terry Vaughn. Vaughn getting close to the 1st down right away.
Again, they're going to keep working the wide side of the field where Mike Crum, the backup safety, is playing corner, and that's a play designed to get Terry Vaughn the football. Here he is right here. He's going to drop right out of there. Drop out of there, gets a chance to get his hands on the football, and pretty good blocking downfield. See Ricky Walters with a nice block right at the point of attack, and that's Nigel Williams down there on Mike Crum.
Not a bad crowd here at BC Place tonight, and they're urging their defense to make a stand here. The handoff goes into the crowd for Daniels. Ball is loose, but the play was whistled down.
A little tackle there by Carr on Donnie Ashley. Just want to let him know that it's still our ball. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's right. And it was a first down.
Well, you're absolutely right, though, right? The BC Lion defense right now have to come up with a big play. Edmonton offense is about 5-6 yards from another field goal to respond to the field goal from Louis Pasaglia. So the only thing that'll change that is a turnover.
And there's the man in charge of the defense, Don Lindsay. Nealon Green out of the shotgun, pump fake, goes for it all, looking for Nigel Williams, and just a little far as he works against Mike Crum.
Don Lindsay wanted a big play, and he decided to go with an all-out blitz to try and get it, but the protection for Nealon Green was outstanding. There was about 8 BC Lion pass rushers on the play, and that offensive line, just watch how they make a nice pocket for Nealon Green. They're all coming for the Lions, but look at that. Lots of time to pump fake. Pocket is there. He's just a couple of yards ahead of Nigel Williams.
And Williams was in behind the defender. The pass was just a little long. Here's Green again on second and long. High pass was looking for Vaughn. 5'8", needed to be about 5'10".
What's an interesting decision now right here for Don Matthews, because he's going to go with the punt formation, have Sean Fleming punt it and work field position rather than try a long field goal, what would be about a 54-yarder. Now Fleming is capable of making it. He's got a strong leg. Don Matthews decided to put the punt team on, punt it down there, and win the field position battle.
And who knows, maybe even get up another point out of it, as he booms it straight into the goal line for the Jet. He'll run it out. And you got to question whether or not giving up the single point would have been a better idea. Regardless, 12:24 to go. Edmonton in control.
Jimmy the Jet, we're just wondering whether or not this was a mental mistake by the Jet. He catches the ball. Watch his feet when he catches it right there. See, he's in the end zone. If he backs up and gives up a signal, there's a lot more field position the Lions have offensively. They're down by 9 now. That would have made it 10. They still need a touchdown and field goal.
As a result, the Lions have to start from their own 4. They swung the ball out to Adams.
Now, the only thing I can say about that is that Jimmy the Jet may have thought that he caught that ball outside. Now, if you catch it outside and then go back in the end zone, you're giving up a safety and have to give up the football again. And it was that close. I mean, his feet were right along the goal line. He likely thought he was already out and just decided to run it.
Well, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one then.
Greg Mons has been criticized that his team, and a lot of the criticism comes from outside of Vancouver, but that his team is always fighting in the locker room, and that there's too many stars on his team, and that they can't get along. And it is not true. This is a team with a lot of talent, but they get along better than a lot of people think in the locker room. In fact, 2 days before every game, the whole team goes out for dinner. This week, it was at Joe Forte's here in Vancouver, and the whole team goes out for dinner. They hang out together. They really do. I mean, they get along. It's not the situation of a bunch of stars wanting the football and arguing in the locker room.
Yeah, I think I'd be pretty accurate in saying that nothing brings a group of football players together like food.
No, yeah, bring it on. Big plates of pasta there, and they have a good time. They get together.
But no, I see exactly what you're saying. Chemistry, and people look at the record of the BC Lions last year, 13-5. They were a good team, and they expected them to just run through the West with the odd challenge here and there from Calgary. But this is a team that has had a lot of changes. They've lost a few guys to the NFL. They've made some changes here and there on their defense. They've completely realigned their defensive scheme, and it takes a while to develop that chemistry, right? Gain of 1 on that last play. The Lions are still hemmed deep. 2nd and 9. Allen backs up into his own end zone. He's got the jet, and the jet's got some room. A first down and a whole lot more. Big play. Well, if that was a mental mistake by Cunningham on the earlier return, he made up for it there.
Well, you can't ask Justin Ring, a linebacker, to run with Jimmy the Jet Cunningham. Number 36 from Simon Fraser, the linebacker. It's a matchup that you're not going to win on defense. And you got to give Damon Allen some credit. Watch Jamie Terrace working on Doug Peterson. Gave Damon Allen time to throw that football, dump it off, and Jimmy the Jet does the rest. And probably the biggest play offensively for the Lions in this game so far.
A key play gets them out of the shadow of their own goalpost. A 30-yard gain on a crossing pattern by Jimmy the Jet. Good call by Joe Powpow.
Well, he got the matchup he wanted. He got big linebacker Justin Ring on the little Jet. And the Jet was on takeoff mode.
Yeah.
See ya.
He had the thrusters on high. And you're right, it was a mismatch. So the Lions are now at the 35 with a first down. And here's some heat coming off the corner. Allen gets away from it. Mobley still after him. The pass is away. And I think that was more or less just getting rid of it before Signor finished the deal.
Well, Jet was open on the sideline. He just slipped and fell. He got to the outside. Mobley was still tracking him down. Jimmy the Jet was open. It just looked like he fell, and that ball sailed over his head.
Good pressure by Mobley, who's having a strong start to this season, not only on defense, but on special teams as well.
As a return guy.
Yeah.
Linebacker returning kicks.
Third in the CFL in kickoff returns. Not kicking or returning tonight, though, because Don Matthews doesn't want to wear them out. It's a key player. 2nd and 10 from the 35. Allen with lots of time. Instead, he's going to run. First down and more. Still on his feet. Allen to the 40. Damon Allen.
Chuck Levy has had a tough game with the ball. He's battled the football tonight, but boy, did he come up with a big block at the end of this run on Damon Allen, who basically just lost the balance on the sideline, or he's still running. Big seam created there. Another good job on Doug Peterson in the middle. This time it was Steve Harden, but watch the end of this play. Damon Allen to the outside. Chuck Levy's coming. Here he comes, 23. Watch out, Mobley.
Yeah, got him. A big run by Damon Allen, who, by the way, is closing in on 10,000 yards rushing in his career.
Will be the only quarterback, Dave, in all of football to rush for 10,000 yards. Damon Allen may get it this year.
He's an amazing athlete, and we'll be back to see how this drive ends up in a moment. Damon Allen, after a 38-yard rush, is creeping up on the magic 10,000. He's 669 yards away from having 10,000 rushing yards in his career. Glenn, the guy has averaged 800 yards rushing a season in his last 3 years. And that's amazing.
Well, last year 785. He had 782 the year before, 837 the year before that. Of course, back in 91, he had over 1,000 yards rushing as the quarterback of the Ottawa Rough Riders. So capable of a 1,000-yard rushing season is Damon Allen, and he likely will get that 10,000 mark this year.
And he's got so much respect around this league with all of his colleagues and players and player personnel and coaches. They all target him when you play BC. There's a big target right there. Number 29, Robert Drummond, picking up a couple. And that's the thing, you know, you never understand. And I know you talk about it an awful lot here, but in Vancouver, sometimes he's underappreciated. A lot of critics come out.
I just think unbelievably underappreciated. And I don't understand how people jump on him so quickly in this city, because last year led the team to 13 wins. Look at the composure he's showing on this drive. This is a drive that started back inside their 5-yard line on the 4-yard line. 2 big 2nd and long plays for Damon Allen. One to the jet and one on a run.
Here's the 2nd and 6. Out of the shotgun. Out of the pocket. Dumps it off. Close to the first down marker is the Jet. He's got the first down.
Well, Perry Carter, the corner for the Edmonton Eskimos, had a tough decision to make. He's standing over there beside Jimmy the Jet, right? Damon Allen is running, attacking the line of scrimmage, and Carter's trying to decide, okay, do I leave my guy and go get Damon Allen, or do I stay with my guy and let Damon Allen run all over the field?
Pick your poison.
Yeah, pick your poison, and first down Lions is the result, or is it a first down?
No, you know what? I could have sworn it was, but my bad. It is not. So they're bringing out the field goal unit. Here's a look.
Well, here's the end of the play, and that looks like they moved the ball back. So, well, Jet was out of bounds.
Yeah, well.
His knee was out of bounds.
That'll do it.
They ruled it no catch.
And here's a 44-yarder for shoeless John Baker, and he pushed it. He pushed it out, and Donnie Ashley brings it out. Ashley, a good return going here. Look out, Donnie Ashley has got lots of room. One man to beat. Ashley has gone all the way. Touchdown. 116 yards for Donnie Ashley.
Man, now, is this not the most exciting game in the world to watch? Come on. Last week, 120-yard missed field goal return by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Week 4, hey, why not see it again? Not quite 120. We'll just go 116 this time.
We'll talk to him about that. Wow. And it is a dagger with 8:58 to go. Lots of time. But momentum, if it was on Edmonton's side, it is all the way over on Edmonton's side now after a missed field goal.
You know, one of the criticisms the Canadian Football League that I've heard before is that people don't like the single for a missed field goal. If you take away the single, you take away the opportunity for Donnie Ashley to return.
Well, let's take another look. Show you what the people down in the end zone seats saw.
Herman Smith just can't track him down. Provo does a nice job on Robert Drummond, and then the good block sustained on the holder. Right there up at your top is Chris Hardy on Doug Nussmeier. He's the backup quarterback and holder. He's sustained his block throughout that whole play, and that's the last one that Donnie Ashley needed to get into the end zone. Again, though, if you take away the single in the CFL, you take away this play, because every time that ball goes wide, it won't matter. It won't be returned. Now, this is a chance back-to-back weeks that we see huge plays on missed field goals.
The first time he's taken a missed field goal all the way back. In his second season, and he has made a major statement. In fact, the Edmonton Eskimos have come in here and they're playing a pretty darn good football game. They fell behind early, they've taken the lead, and they've never looked back. And yeah, you suck on that oxygen there, Johnny.
Well, you know, if you're an Edmonton fan right now, you got to feel pretty good about your football team. Your starting quarterback is back in the lineup. You've got big play potential every time some of these guys touch the football, and Ashley and Gizmo Williams, Fred Bailey. You've got some big play people up there. You've got a good, solid offensive line. Nealon Green looks healthy and back in the groove. You got to feel pretty good about your team. And if you hang on and win this game, you're tied for second in the West.
After an 0-2 start, they've got a good shot here at evening their record at 2-2, but plenty of time left for the BC Lions to respond. And here's Chuck Levy running into a crowd. Just gets over the 35-yard line. So mentally, this is tough right now, right? For a team to regroup after something like that happens to you?
Well, you know, and Damon Allen, he had the drive he wanted. He moved it out from his own 4-yard line on that previous drive, got it into field goal range, because remember, they needed a touchdown and a field goal anyway. So it was a good decision not to gamble.
Right.
Lots of time left, kick the field goal. You need a field goal anyway. And Donnie Ashley says, yeah, but we could also do this to you. And another 7 on the board. So now Greg Mons has the big hole to dig out of.
And you want to talk about a game of inches. Obviously, they were inches away on that pass to Jimmy Cunningham on the far sidelines from having a first down and keeping what was a good drive going. Allen out of the shotgun on first down. Over the middle looking for Adams. Was that pass there, Glenn?
Well, no. What happened, Mike Adams is trying to read whether or not to go in and keep running his pattern and run not to just hook up. And he was reading a different book that Damon Allen was reading. Mike Adams was reading Harry Potter, and Damon Allen's reading Dr. Seuss. We were just not on the same page.
Totally different things
Different
there.
books.
Different books. After a hot start for Damon Allen to this football game, 10 of 12, he's now 8 for his last 25. Here working on second down. Lots of time sprinting out of the pocket. And that one didn't work.
He didn't have anyone to throw to.
No, and he didn't have any room to run to. Terry Ray ended that play.
Terry Ray has emerged as a leader in this Edmonton Eskimo defense. Last year, almost 100 tackles. And here he is right here. Look how far he's got to get back over there to be the secondary contain man, the second guy. So he comes up in there. He sees David. Now watch him just sprint to the outside and just track down Damon Allen. Ran right by Sean Millington and doesn't give Damon Allen a chance to throw the football. And now we've got an injured BC Lion down on the field. It's like one of the big boys.
And with his injury timeout, we will take a break with the Edmonton Eskimos up by 16. 7:43 to go in the game.
Sean Millington may have had an opportunity to help out his quarterback, Damon Allen, but he had his radar locked right here on Grant Carter, and he doesn't see Terry Ray over here. Watch this. Sean Millington has a chance. Look, he's looking right. Whoa, who's that guy?
92, 90.
Blew by him.
Didn't see him.
His radar was already locked in.
Needed to check the old rear view mirrors. Louis gets away, a good punt to the Giz. And there's going to be no return on this one. Wrapped up in a hurry. Now, as I mentioned, lots of time left, but let's go back to the keys that you felt Don Matthews' team had to execute if they were going to win this ball game.
Well, they had to lean on the line, and I think that offensive line has played quite well for the Edmonton Eskimos. 175 yards passing for Green, no mistakes. Had to shore up their defense against the pass, and Damon Allen just 183 yards passing. They're doing that and keep old Mo. Well, they're ahead.
Keep old Mo going from last week when they scored 51 points but allowed 49. So it was good news, bad news type of situation, but right now they've only given up 13 and none for an awful long time. Play action, Nealon Green over the top, wide open, and Daniels dropped it. Or else that could have been 6.
Oh. Nealon's looking like, wait a minute, what do I got to do? That was right there.
He couldn't have walked out there and handed it to him any better. But
again, this is a tendency breaker play. Daniels is primarily a blocker. In fact, that's all he does, and he's a great one at it. But every now and then you want to throw one in and just something to mix things up, and he got Keith Franklin guessing in behind him and forgot one thing, forgot the rock.
Forgot the football. So it's 2nd and 10 from their own 35. Out of the shotgun again, Green. Looking to throw, flushed out. Gets away from a couple of tacklers. And I think, as we've mentioned, another good sign for Eskimo fans is the knee looks good. There's no, tension there when he's running. He's not scared to test it and cut.
Well, yeah, and he's cutting well. He's looking good on that knee. And the other thing about Nealon Green is he's starting to learn that, yeah, okay, I'll make a couple of guys miss like he does. There's Benefield off the edge. He missed him. Now he'll make a couple of guys miss, but he realizes now, look, I'm not going to get much more out of this. I got to get down. And down he goes. And that's maturity from Nealon Green, because in that play in Saskatchewan in the preseason that he hurt his knee, maybe one too many moves cost him.
The kick is away. Levy has it inside his own 30. Not much of a return. So the Lions will try again. They're running out of time. Under 6.5 to go. It's 29-13 for the visitors. On first down, Allen went to Sean Millington, who picks up a first down right off the bat.
Little screen pass. You know that Edmonton's going to come with some pressure. Just dump it off to big Sean Millington. He's really made a career out of this play right here. Look like you're going to block and then just turn around, get some of those big guys out in front. Made Grant Carter miss. Picks up the first down. You don't want to deviate too much from your game plan.
They're down 16, but plenty of time left, especially with the veteran at the controls, Robert Drummond. Halfway home to another first down. The hurry-up is on, and the Lions have had success in the past when they play the hurry-up offense.
Well, it gives a chance. First of all, it does two things. One, it gives your quarterback a chance to see pretty vanilla defense. When I say that, when you're calling the defenses on the line, you got to play pretty basically. You can't get too many stunts going, too many blitzes going. You got to stay in basic coverage. Damon Allen can read that.
2nd and 5. Allen swings it out, and the ball was almost picked off by Torrey Hunter.
They wanted Alfred Jackson in the lineup because they wanted to get him in some one-on-one coverage and think that he can win that. But watch Alfred Jackson working on Hunter here. Great coverage by the veteran Torrey Hunter. Look at this. Little jam there, pulls him down, got away with a bit of a hold there. Alfred Jackson comes up limping. But, hey, if the rest don't see it.
It's a rub, right?
Yes.
It's a rub. So the Lions offense stalls. And Lou will kick it away, and it's not a great punt. Gizmo takes it on the run, lots of flags.
Be a 15-yard penalty. A great play by Gizmo Williams just to get up there and catch it in a crowd. When he does that, he'll draw the 15-yard penalty. If the ball bounces on the ground, it's just a 5-yard penalty, but Giz hustled up under it.
No yards.
Through the 15 yards.
BC number 25. First down.
You know, that's one thing that this Eskimo team has done all season long is they've started in good field position. Coming in, their average start was around the 45-yard line. The reason they have that is because of their special teams people. Gizmo Williams. You've got Donnie Ashley. You saw what he can do if you miss a field goal.
Yeah. So with the extra 15 yards, the Eskimos begin from their own 45. Here is Green with everybody out of the backfield, but he's going to do it himself. The official was in the way there. He's just shy of a first down. Nealon Green, 24 years old, and there's been so much talk about him in Edmonton, but really he still has to establish himself in this league, doesn't he?
Well, absolutely. I mean, he's shown great flashes. Obviously, he's a great runner, as we can see right on that play, but he still has a lot to prove as a starting quarterback in the CFL, no question. Last year, the team, Edmonton, just won 6 games.
Well, coming here onto the road and winning his first start of the season would be a huge start towards proving that.
And they'll just want to keep this football on the ground, try and chew up as much time as they can, and not give Damon Allen too many more opportunities to come back. And that's where you wonder if you miss a Troy Mills in the backfield. Now, if you have Nealon that can run, yes, but Troy Mills is on the sideline in street clothes.
Yeah.
And this is where you need him most.
It is a first down. They're right at the midfield stripe. And there's the handoff going to Carr. Greg Carr. As you're right, they will likely keep it very conservative from here on out. Queue up the remaining 3:14 and not give Damon Allen any opportunities. You talk about flashes of brilliance. This guy's been all right in what was a tough spot to be in.
Well, and you know what he's done well is he's blocked on passing plays for Nealon Greenwell, and that was a bit of a concern. Something that is a challenge for Craig Carr is the pass blocking when he's asked to come up there and help out his quarterback. He's done a good job tonight.
And so the Eskimos were the 3-minute warning. 29-13. Way back when, 1983, Don Matthews' first head coaching job was right here at BC Place with the BC Lions, and they used to pack it back then. He had a good team, went on to win a Grey Cup, and right now he's doing it again.
Well, he doesn't become the all-time winningest coach in CFL history without knowing a thing or two about how to win.
2nd and 7.
Here they come.
Over the top, and that pass was too high. Yet Matthews had a great quote yesterday in the press conference when everybody was asking him about the quarterbacking situation and, you know, what the other quarterbacks thought. He kind of looked everybody in the face and said, "We try not to run a democracy here.
This is not a democracy.
This is not open for debate.
This is my way or there's the highway."
There's the highway.
And that's exactly how he
and
runs
it
the
goes
football
one way
team.
out of town. Yeah.
Well, he just flat out said Nealon Green's a starting quarterback. End of story.
Next question.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was completely a non-issue with him. And it was still a debated topic even right before the kickoff of this game in the press box. Chuck Levy on the return here. But right now, it looks like a good call to get Nealon Green out there. Right now, Greg Mons needs some magic.
Why are they behind? We thought they should pound the drum. They started out with it in the first half. He had some yards, but really they've had to go to the passing game because they're behind. Test Nealon's knee, they did, and it passed.
Yeah.
With flying colors.
Check there.
Get over that loss. It didn't really matter that it was a blowout against Calgary, and they haven't played poorly today, but they haven't made the big plays when they needed them.
But this is a defense, the Lions defense, that gave up around 20 points a game last year, and they are having trouble so far this season. Damon Allen airing it out, going for it all, looking for Jackson, and the pass hit Torrey Hunter in the back. It hung up there an awful long time.
Alfred Jackson must be just exhausted. He's been banged up. He's had to play corner. He's got to run deep. Here he goes down the sideline. Torrey Hunter's beat initially, but you got to give him credit. See, he has to do that blind turn his back to the quarterback, but he does catch up. The ball hangs up there, and you know, the officials are doing a nice job with that pass interference. There's been some contact down the field, but it's been fairly incidental, and they haven't been calling the penalty, so, which I think is the way they should go.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. 2nd and 10 from their 26. Allen looking to make something happen here. There's a completion far side of the field to Robert Drummond. And a first down. Move the chains. 2:19 to go. It's still a 16-point deficit.
Now, you know, there still is time, but what Joe Paopao is looking for and what he needs is 2 touchdowns and then two-point converts just to tie it.
Hey, you know, after that game last Friday night, I think I've seen it all, and I am not going to write this game off until there's about 5 seconds to go. Chuck Levy along the far sidelines. First down as the Lions chip away. By the way, if you're wondering, Don Blair, not in the ball game tonight, obviously. He's had a real tough start to this season, injury-wise. Joe Paopao would like to get his Canadian slot out there, but he had an emergency appendectomy that most of you probably already know about in the preseason, and he's had complications ever since. Damon Allen on first down. Does he have Alfred Jackson? Yes, he does, and they're close to another first down.
Well, Damon Allen is not giving up on this game, no question about it. Still got the team up on the line of scrimmage, calling the plays on the line and trying to get one in there, maybe run the onside kick depending on how much time is left. Now he's going to get a measurement here. That'll stop the clock, get a chance to get in the huddle here, maybe call a couple of plays. But there is still plenty of time. I've seen 3 touchdowns scored in under 2 minutes in the CFL before.
Wasn't against you guys, was it?
No, it was actually us against Calgary one year. We came back when Doug Flutie was in Calgary years ago, back when we were in leather helmets almost. It seems like that long ago.
Yeah. Oh, it is. First down. You saw it. The Lions are moving the ball down the field here, and Allen's got some time, but not anymore. Malvin Hunter has him wrapped up. You see the flag. Malvin, big game, Hunter.
It was holding against the BC Lions was the flag,
Holding.
and they will decline that.
BC 61.
And take
Penalties
the loss.
decline, second down.
Damon Allen wanted to go to Alfred Jackson, who was blanketed again. This time, it was Ralph Staten that was providing the coverage, and when Jackson could not spring open, Damon Allen had to eat the football. But they're in 3-down territory now.
They are. 1:40 and counting on the clock. Allen looking for somebody open. The pressure came from Hunter again, and Levy makes a nice catch. Adjusting in the air, short of the first down.
Yeah, but it's a big catch because even though they're short, it's 3-down football anyway. They know that. They knew that going into this series. So now it makes your 3rd-down gamble just a 3- or 4-yard gamble, not a 13- or 14-yard gamble. It's obviously a big difference. And it was. quite a catch by Chuck Levy coming back.
He's had his ups and downs in this ball game, but you're right. Big play right there. Keeps the hopes alive. Here's Allen. Going long, looking for Jackson, and there's a flag.
Yeah.
No doubt about that one, as Torrey Hunter was beat. The pass was there.
Well, minute and 11 left.
Yeah.
They're knocking on the door. They're going to be right down there where the interference happened, which was above the 3-yard line, and no question, a penalty here.
First down.
It was unintentional by the looks of it. It looked like Torrey Hunter went down, and when he did,
Yeah, he did trip a little.
Yeah, he tripped up and actually almost tackled Alfred Jackson. So no question in pass interference, but hey, basically saved a touchdown, because if you're going down, that's what we're talking about, a good penalty. That's a good penalty.
Forced them to run another couple of plays at least, take some more time. Allen, play action fake. He's gonna, no, I thought he was gonna do it himself. No! Alfred Jackson couldn't squeeze it.
Well, basically what it cost him was about 3 seconds on the clock. And Alfred Jackson's starting to look tired. Definitely a ball that he should have had. Again, there was some coverage over there, and it looked like he was distracted a little bit. And Chris Hardy, the safety, flew all the way from the middle of the field over there to help out on Jackson. Just distracted him enough, and the ball goes down to the turf. Again, it's 3-down football, but that cost the Lions 2 seconds, 2 valuable seconds.
The Lions had to come from behind on the road in week 1 against Hamilton. They had to hang on in week 2 here against Saskatchewan. And right now they are definitely trying to pull a major rabbit out of the hat with 1:09 to go. Knocking on the door. But that guy does not look happy.
Well, they've been down here, and a big difference in this game is that when they've been in the scoring position, they've had to come away with field goal attempts. They have not been able to finish drives here tonight.
And of course, the big play on one of their field goal attempts went all the way back. Donnie Ashley taking one back 116 yards, which may prove to be the backbreaker. Took a 9-point game and turned it into a 16-point game. There's time on the field here.
Well, it's interesting formation. Got Chuck Levy out here. He's a running back lined up as a wide receiver. This is Sean Millington in the backfield trying to change things up and see what kind of matchups they get down the field. Let's see who goes out to cover Chuck Levy. If it's a linebacker, they go to him. But right now they're leaving Provo on him, the corner.
All right, 2nd down for Allen and the Lions. Into the end zone, the corner, and it's way over the head of Alfred Jackson. Some major miscommunication there. Well, they had all the time in the world to talk about that play.
Well, again, you know, they wanted the corner to Alfred Jackson, and he just never made the break. He never made the cut to go to the corner.
So as we've mentioned, obviously, it's 3-down football, and this is the 3rd down. Trying to take advantage of that pass interference penalty against Torrey Hunter. Here it is, Damon Allen. Looking for that corner again, lofts it up. He's got Jackson, but he is out of bounds.
Well, they went back-to-back plays, trying to go to who they want to be their go-to guy. They just haven't played together enough this year to make it happen. Alfred Jackson had an opportunity on the play before. He didn't go to the corner. This time, he gets open, runs the right play, and Damon Allen throws it too far. And that is the game. You need 1 foot in the CFL. He's got the ball right now. His legs are in the air. Well, he's got both feet out of bounds, way out of bounds.
And the touchdown drought continues for Alfred Jackson. And Joe has put the headset down. And that's going to be a tough week of film work, I'm sure, for that guy, whose team managed to score just 2 points last week in Calgary. Just 13 points so far here at home against the Edmonton Eskimos, a team that gave up 49 a week ago. And so now the BC Lions are in territory that Greg Maughan certainly hasn't known since he took over in BC, and that is 500.
Well, you know, everyone talked this year about being a two-horse race in the West between Calgary and BC. Well, there's another horse in Edmonton that just caught up.
Yeah. There is a horse, no question about it. The Edmonton Eskimos have been impressive. I mentioned they fell behind early in the first half of this ball game. Showed no signs of panic, chipped away, got that huge play from Donnie Ashley. They do it without Troy Mills. They do it with Nealon Green playing his first game of the season, and he's looked good, and that's why he is getting the game ball. Brought to you by Adidas. A couple of touchdown passes for this guy. Knee looks fine.
Well, you know, the two things and the reasons that I truly believe that he deserves the Adidas game ball is that great composure, first start. He had to get over the psychological barrier that was his knee injury. He did that. He never made any key mistakes. It wasn't real flashy. It was a workmanlike performance, but didn't make any mistakes.
Both of these teams will go on the road next week. Edmonton goes into Hamilton. BC goes into Winnipeg. And as for the Edmonton Eskimos and Don Matthews, they will try to stretch their win streak to 3 when they take on the Ticats next week, because this one is over.
Well, you know, and the thing that he's got to be happy about, too, is that he's got his starting quarterback who's coming off a knee injury, went the entire game without re-injuring it or aggravating it. So now he's got another week to get even stronger.
And the Edmonton Eskimos have now won 15 of their last 17 games here in BC Place. They should schedule more games here.
Yeah, I'm sure they love to play in the Dome. And
you think the league would allow that?
He just wants to get out of the Dome right now because...
But the key blow, definitely, was a missed field goal by the BC Lions, brought all the way back by Donnie Ashley. 116 yards, broke the back of the BC Lions, and the Edmonton Eskimos cruise to a 29-13 win.
CFL football on TSN is brought to you by Molson Canadian. I am Canadian.
Well, the guys talked about it before. Don Matthews is a special teams wizard, and it showed tonight. The two big plays of this game, both on special teams, the block kick by Ricky Walters and then the return of the missed field goal by Donnie Ashley, absolutely turned this game around and led the Eskimos to victory. We are next up, right back at you tomorrow night on Adidas Friday Night Football, the Battle of Ontario, the Hamilton Tiger Cats taking on the Toronto Argonauts. Don't forget to check out www.tsn.ca/CFL for everything you need to know about your favorite league. The desk is up in about a half an hour's time with Rod and David, the full story from football and the baseball world. Maybe David Benefield will do better in the rubber dinghy race against Mike Pringle in the Tim Hortons CFL All-Star Challenge. That's coming up next. In progress. This one is not in progress. It is done. Tez with another TD as the Eskimos are now technically in second over BC. This has been a presentation of TSN, Canada's most watched sports network.